To Jimmy John's Field on this gorgeous Saturday evening. Steve, Brian Fisher here with
Steve Murawski.
And in this game between the Utica Unicorns and Westside Woolly Mammoths. Steve, on Thursday, the Westside Woolly Mammoths evened up their record, and they're at 5-5 now. They ended up beating the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers 6-4, and really the MVP of that game has to probably go to the two-run home run that was hit by Tyler McVicker in the 8th inning. He went 1-for-4 that game, but he really came through in his last at-bat. Jeff Smith as well had a fantastic game. He went 2-for-2 with 2 walks and two base hits and 2 RBIs, so he did a great job overall.
Yeah, the home run, a little bit under question. It did hit the top of the fence and come back into play, but the ruling by the umpires was that it was a home run and gave them a 6-4 lead. But it's just a testament to the Woolly Mammoths' resolve, and they were down 4-0 and able to come back against the Beavers and really kind of give them a taste of their own medicine and pick up the victory.
Yeah, like you mentioned, Steve, they were down 4-0 going into that inning, and it was just all Beavers through that point. I mean, Kevin Matthews dominated as well for the Beavers. We went 5 innings with no earned runs and 9 strikeouts, and it just looked like it was going to be an easy win, but like you said, they resolved, they pushed through, and they had a big 8th inning where they scored all 6 of their runs. It was just phenomenal.
Yeah, I was talking to Kent Blackstone, the Mammoth second baseman, today, and he said that Matthews is very good at mixing up his pitches, mixing up his speeds, and that's what makes him so dominant, is that he can locate all of his pitches, and he can change speeds and really catch hitters off balance, and that's what gets him that high strikeout totals each time he goes out. But tonight we have a great pitching matchup for you. Donnie Murray starting for the Unicorns. Last season he threw in 16 games. He was 1-5 last season. He's actually equaled the win total this year. He's won his first start against the Beavers. Went 5 innings, only gave up 2 hits. He struck out 7 without giving up a walk. Through his other 3 starts, he didn't throw more than 4 innings. And he's given up 4 runs. He gave up 4 runs against the Diamond Hoppers, and he gave up 2 earned runs against the Woolly Mammoths. So he's sitting at a 3.38 ERA and a 1.0 WHIP. And on the other side for the Mammoths, you have Sean Kennedy, who's 0-1 on the season. He's pitched in 4 games, thrown 12 2/3 innings. He's given up 12 hits. He's struck out 6 and walked 3. He's got a 5.68 ERA and a 1.18 WHIP. So I'm sure he's looking to keep guys off the base paths and keep the Unicorns from hitting that long ball over the fence.
Well, that solid 1.0 whip for Donnie Murray has definitely been the strongest point for him so far. He's got 19 strikeouts throughout the 16 innings pitched. He's averaged more than a strikeout per inning. He's done a fantastic job of just keeping these runners off the base paths. Only 4 walks for him on the season. He's done a fantastic job of getting players out and not letting anyone really give him any trouble.
Yeah, I haven't really seen him as a power pitcher yet. We may see that here tonight. He can run it up to about 92, 93 miles an hour with the fastball. So we'll see if he can rack up the strikeouts or if he pitches to contact here against a solid Woolly Mammoths lineup.
And the last time the Utica Unicorns played was back on the 29th of May. They ended up winning that game 8-4, and they ended up having a very large 5th inning. Their new guy on the block, Brendan Guilfoyle, ended up going 2-for-4 with 2 runs and an RBI, base hit, and a double in his debut in the USPBL. He at first went 0-for-2, but he finished the game strong. And we looking for more out of that from him today, or do you think that? What do you think about that, Steve?
I think so. Guilfoyle, he's a solid third baseman. He's got a great bat. You know, he's slotted in the 6th hole today over at third base, and he's a very good support player. But I'm looking at guys like Taylor Galikowski and Nico Lalio. Galikowski was 2-for-4 in the last time Unicorns took the field. He's 2-for-4 with 2 RBIs and a run scored. And Nico Lalio, he was 1-for-4, but he had a huge grand slam that really put the game away and gave the Unicorns a good chance to win. So I'll be looking for big things out of those 2 guys.
Yeah, up until that grand slam from Nico Lalio, it was all Taylor Galikowski's game. He had a home run in the first, he had an RBI double in the second, and it was looking like he was going to be the player of the game. But then Nico Lalio steps up in the 5th inning and just dominates.
All right, and we're going to send it down to the field for the starting lineups and the national anthem.
The visiting team, the Utica Unicorns, managed by Jim Estigan. The starting lineups for today's game are sponsored by AAA of Michigan. For the Unicorns, leading off and batting first from Fraser, Michigan, the left fielder number 19, Taylor Gillikowski. Batting second from Denville, New Jersey, the designated hitter tonight, number 20, Mike Rampone. Batting third from Phoenix, Arizona, the second baseman, number 9, Luke Doyle. Batting fourth from Dallas, Texas, the center fielder, number 10, Brandon Raw. Batting fifth from Bay Shore, New York, the right fielder, number 4, Chris Cruz. Batting sixth from Streamwood, Illinois, the third baseman, number 22, Brandon Guilfoyle. Batting seventh from Grayson, Georgia, the first baseman, number 44, Clay Adeezer. Batting eighth from Cheshire, Connecticut, the catcher, number 6, Timothy Budd. Batting ninth from Carlsbad, California, the shortstop, number 15, Brent Falcon. The starting pitcher tonight for the Utica Unicorns from Boston, Massachusetts, number 21, Donnie Murray. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to bring on your home team for tonight's game, the Westside Woolly Mammoths, managed by Shane McCaddy. Joining the Mammoths tonight on the field are today's baseball buddies, the Motor City Hit Dogs, 9 and under and 12 and under. Leading off and batting first from Chicago, Illinois, number 7, the center fielder, Joba Farrell with Nichols, Burwa, and Alex Kozlowski. Hitting second from Tipton, Georgia, number 21, the left fielder, Alex Abbott with Miles Carter. Batting third from Appleton, Ohio, number 2, the shortstop, Jeff Smith with Rylan Tennies and Anthony Elijah. Batting fourth from Goffstown, New Hampshire, number 3, the third baseman, Riley Palmer with Michael Lee and Ryan Petrovich. Batting fifth from Maitland, Florida, number 20, the catcher Kyle Kentner with Andrew Gingle and Joe Burwa. Batting sixth from Vienna, Virginia, number 9, the second baseman Ken Blackstone with Nick Kirstich and Braden Adams. Batting seventh from Melrose, Massachusetts, number 22, the first baseman Tyron McVicker with Robert Bogdan and Will Kroll. Batting eighth from Chattanooga, Tennessee, number 10, tonight's designated hitter, Hagen Wilkie with Brandon Schrems and Cole Kirstich. Batting ninth from Arlington, Tennessee, and number 1, the right fielder, Jordan Barnes with Blake Lutsky. And the starting pitcher tonight for the Westside Woolly Mammoths from Slidell, Louisiana, number 16, Sean Kennedy with Nicholas Bozelkowski. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats. Veterans and active military may keep your caps on while rendering the hand salute as we honor America and the military with the singing of our national anthem, performed this evening by Christian Butchelon.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs burst
Welcome back, everyone, to this ball game between the Utica Unicorns and the Westside Woolly Mammoths. Brian Fisher and Steve Morawski here. And we're just a few moments away from first pitch. And Steve, you want to go through the starting lineup for the Westside or the Utica Unicorns?
Yeah, the Unicorns. They got Taylor Gillikowski batting leadoff, playing left field. Mike Rampone DHing today in the 2-hole. Luke Doyle batting third over at second base. Brandon Raw in the 4 slot. He's in center field today on defense. Chris Cruz playing right field, batting 5th. Brandon Guilfoyle playing third base and batting 6th. Clay Ardeezer playing first base, batting 7th. Tim Budd behind the plate, batting 8th. And Brett Balkin at shortstop, batting 9th. And out on defense for the Woolly Mammoths, you got Alex Abbott in left field, and Jabba Farrell mans center field with Jordan Barnes in right field. Raleigh Palmer over at third base with Jeff Smith next to him at shortstop. Kent Blackstone at second. And Tyler McVicker over at first base. Kyle Henner behind the plate, and Sean Kennedy on the mound.
And like you kind of mentioned earlier, Steve, Taylor Gillikowski is a player you want to look out for because he is a threat at the plate. He, like we mentioned, he went 2 for 4. He had a home run and a double the last time the Utica Unicorns played, and he's just consistently been very good at the plate.
Yeah, Gillikowski, it seems like every time he comes up to the plate, he hits that big leadoff home run. We've seen him do that a few times this season, and maybe we'll see some more fireworks from him tonight.
As Taylor Gillikowski steps in now, we have mostly clouds out there today. We got some blue sky peeking through as well, so the shadows aren't, the sunshine isn't too abrupt that it blocks gets in the batter's eyes.
Still a beautiful night for baseball.
Yes, the temperature was 78 degrees. It's probably a little bit cooler now as the first pitch comes in. In there for a strike from Sean Kennedy. So first pitch is at 7:02.
79 degrees according to our PA announcer.
And here comes the 0-1 pitch. It's going to be in the dirt. It's going to hit the ground before it even makes it to home plate. So 1-1 now.
Mammoth sporting the white jerseys today with blue sleeves, and the Utica Unicorns in their grout fits, all gray with purple numbers and red outlining.
Overall, I personally, Steve, like the Unicorns outfits the best, but these home uniforms for the Mammoths are very nice too. I like the blue sleeves with the white, rest of the uniform.
Yeah, they're very sharp.
Comes the 1-1 high, 2-1 now.
I was talking with some of the Diamond Hoppers players, and I've seen a few people around the ballpark wearing black Diamond Hoppers jerseys, and they informed me that they don't have those jerseys, that they're just for fans. And I was
as that one's going to be grounded through to left field. So a single for Taylor Gillikowski to start things off. He continues his consistency at the plate.
So I was very curious to kind of wonder why the players don't get those, but the fans do, as Mike Rampone comes to the plate. But, overall the jerseys here are very sharp for all 4 teams.
Yeah, there's not really a jersey that I don't like. The only jersey, I would say the least favorite of my jerseys are those Flintstone-style Woolly Mammoth jerseys. I don't quite understand. I guess it's the prehistoric vibe, but I don't understand why it's an orange jersey. It doesn't really go well with their color scheme. I
understand the concept behind it. Like, I kind of agree with you. I'm not sure about the orange. That one's fallen off to the right side, but I understand the concept, but I definitely don't think they'll be making a fashion statement anytime soon.
So 0-1 now on Mike Rampone. As Mike Rampone continues to wait. He did not play the last time the Unicorns played, as that one's going to be in there for a ball. 1-1 now.
He's batting 111 on the season, so he's looking to raise that average a little bit.
Try to break out of this early season slump.
Doesn't have a homer and an RBI on the season, only has 2 hits.
Gillikowski over there at first, so deep hit could get that one as he shoots that one towards the gap. And making a diving catch is Joba Farrell out there in center, and a good play at that.
And Gillikowski thought that ball was trapped. He stopped about halfway to second base. He's got his arms up thinking that Farrell trapped it, and he's going to be doubled off at second, so that's going to be a double play.
So now Luke Doyle will step in with 2 outs and now nobody on base after that unusual double play.
As a base runner, Gillikowski, I think he did the right thing, but except for going to second. He went halfway, needed to see where the ball was going to go, but unfortunately for him, umpire ruled that he caught it.
So it was a great diving play by Joe Buffaro. Unfortunately, it did not go the way Galikowski wanted. Luke Doyle looks at the first pitch for a ball, 1-0. Luke Doyle, the last time the Unicorns played, Steve, he did not do that well. He went 1 for 4, had an infield single and a walk, but he had 5 plate appearances, only 1 base hit. As that's going to get into the stands, so it's 1-1 now.
Seems like he's the kind of guy that won't let one game affect him. He's batting .395 on the season, so he's hits for a high average. He's got 1 homer and 5 RBIs, scored 6 runs. He's got 5 walks. He's definitely a guy that gets on base, gives his team a chance to put some runs on the board.
Yeah, he did not do a good job against the Unicorns, but like you said, on the season, he's been doing fantastic with that .395 batting average. He gets on the base paths a lot, so that one game was just an aberration so far, as it's 2-1 now on Luke Doyle.
Now I count 4 lefties in the Unicorns lineup facing left-handed pitcher Sean Kennedy, and I'm wondering if that's going to be an impact on their bats tonight.
I wonder too, because it's a left-handed pitcher on the mound too, so that's going to expedite the workload that he's going to have to do, because usually left-handed hitters do better against left-handed or right-handed pitchers.
Well, they do see right-handers more often. That one's grounded to first and going to be taken by McVictor for the 3rd out, but obviously Kennedy doing well in the top half of the 1st.
Yep, so it's going to be 0-0 going to the bottom half of the 1st inning, where the game is, well, tied 0-0. So leading off for the Westside Woolly Mammoths will be the center fielder Joe Buffaro, followed by the left fielder Alex Abbott and the shortstop Jeff Smith. So when we come back, we'll go through the entire lineup for the Westside Woolly Mammoths, and we'll be back shortly. Welcome back, everyone, to the bottom half of the 1st inning, where due up for the Westside Woolly Mammoths is the center fielder Joe Buffaro batting first, followed by the left fielder Alex Abbott batting second. Batting 3rd is the shortstop Jeff Smith. Batting 4th is the 3rd baseman Riley Palmer. Batting 5th is the catcher Kyle Hamner. Batting second base is the right fielder Kent Blackstone. Batting 7th is the first baseman Tyler McVicker. Batting 8th is the DH Hagen Wilkie. And batting 9th is the right fielder Jordan Barnes. On the defensive side of things, we have Timothy Budd behind the plate, Clay Artizer at first, Luke Doyle at second, Brett Bulkin at short, Brandon Guilfoyle at 3rd base, Taylor Galikowski at left, Brandon Raw at center, and Chris Cruz at right. Jabba Farrell swings and misses at a strike, 0-1 on him, to lead things off for the Westside Woolly Mammoths. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Swung foul, so 0-2.
Yeah, Murray, he has an interesting windup. Instead of stepping to the side, he steps back. You don't see that too often from a lot of modern-day pitchers, but instead you see a lot of guys just step with their left foot straight to the side.
Well, he's got a 3.38 ERA and a 1 WHIP, so even though it's a little bit different, it tends to work for him in his 16 innings pitched so far. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Swung on and flown to the second baseman, who had to make a stretching grab at that one. So Luke Doyle will make the play over there at second.
It's a good play. Hit hard on a line by Farrell. It's exactly what you want to do as a leadoff hitter. Hit something hard, try to get it through the infield, but Doyle made a nice play on the jumping grab.
Yeah, it was a good piece of hitting, but even better play on the defensive side of things. As Alex Abbott steps in, he's going to single that one down the first base line, so he's going to get extra bases on this one. No, he's going to stop and retreat back to first. So Alex Abbott on the first pitch he sees, singles it down the first base line.
Last game, I believe Abbott struck out 3 times, so he's definitely looking to hit something hard, and he did right down the first base line there.
Yeah, like you said, he was 0 for 3. He struck out looking all 3 times, and then eventually got on base in the 8th by getting hit by a pitch. So unlucky day for him. Already improved on that, though, with that base hit. So Jeff Smith sits in now, and he is batting a very strong 357 on the season.
No homers to speak of, but he does have 6 RBIs. I'm sure the power will come with experience.
And the first pitch to Jeff Smith is going to be swung on and grounded over to the third baseman. They're going to toss on a second, get him, toss down to first, and get him as well. So a double play to end the inning. Jeff Smith swings on his first pitch and grounds it over to Guilfoyle, who throws it down to Doyle, then down to Artizer. So it'll be a 5-4-3 double play to end the baseball, or end the inning, not the whole game. So we go to the top of the second, tied 0-0. And due up for the Utica Unicorns, Steve, is the center fielder Brandon Raw, followed by right fielder Chris Cruz and third baseman Brendan Guilfoyle. So we'll be back shortly. All right, welcome back, everyone, to the top of the second inning where the Utica Unicorns are due up. Leading off is Brandon Raw. And in this past half inning, between the innings, I should say, we had the Zootopia mascots, or whatever they're called. They were doing a little show.
The world-famous Superstars.
The Superstars, that's what they're called. All their names are puns on baseball players, too.
Yeah, you got Ken Giraffe Jr., Roger Clemens, Nolan Rhino. Those are the ones I can think of off the top of my head, but Brendan Raw stands in. Now he's batting .341 with 3 homers and 9 RBIs. Definitely a good 4-hole slot for the Unicorns.
As the first pitch he sees is going to be high for a ball, 1-0. Brennan, well, last time the Unicorns played was 3 for 5. He had a single, a ground rule double, and I'm sorry, he was 2 for 5, a single and a ground rule double, and got out the other 3 times. So he's batting a very strong 341 on the season. He's 2-1 now on the count. So look for him to continue that trend. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Going to be high, 3-1 now.
Kennedy missing high early here. It seems like he's not really pulling down on any of his pitches, and that's what's causing him to miss just above the letters.
As the 3-1 comes in, he's going to swing and pop this one up high in the air. And Smith is going to back up just a little bit on the outfield grass to make the play, and he's going to get him out. So it'll be 1 out now in the top of the second inning. The game's tied 0-0. So Chris Cruz will come to the plate.
Cruz definitely looks like he can hit with some power. We've seen him hit some balls pretty far. I've watched him in batting practice. He's got a great left-handed swing. He's only batting .211. He's got 1 homer and 6 RBIs, but you can expect some pop off his bat once he starts to get hot.
Yeah, the last time the Unicorns played, as that one's drilled up to the center, like you said, he got some power on that one, but straight to the center fielder Farrell on the first pitch he saw. What you were saying, Steve, he gets good contact on most of the pitches he sees. It just tends to drill it right to the outfielder.
That's baseball. Sometimes the ball falls for you. Sometimes it's not about how hard you hit it. Sometimes it's about where you hit it.
Well, just like in the first inning when Jabba Farrell swung one, really got a lot of good contact on it. Swung it right to Luke Doyle out there at second base. Just how it goes sometimes.
Brandon Guilfoyle standing in, betting 500 on the season, but small sample size. He was 2 for 4 in the last game for the Unicorns. Also had a walk, an RBI, and 2 runs scored.
Definitely not a bad way to start your USPBL career with a single, double, and an RBI.
You know, watching him take fungos during batting practice, he looks very fundamentally sound over there at third and looks like he can really pick it.
So it's 0 for 1 on him now. And here comes the 0-1 pitch. It's going to be outside and high. 1-1. Like you said, Steve, most of the balls he's been missing the strike zone with have been high.
Yeah, he's not really pulling down on his pitches. You know, he's gotten some contact here, and that's because he's missing up, but luckily it hasn't been too detrimental to him. They've both been flyouts, so he takes a strike there.
Yep, it's going to be 1-2 now as that one finds its way inside the strike zone. And that one's going to be in there for a strike. He's going to strike him out looking. The first strikeout for Sean Kennedy of the ball game. And that's going to end the top half of the second inning. So we're going to go to the bottom of the second with the inning still scoreless. Or the game still scoreless. Where due up is going to be the third baseman Riley Palmer, the catcher Kyle Hamner, and the second baseman Kent Blackstone. So we'll be back shortly. Welcome back, everyone, to the bottom half of the second inning. Tie ball game 0-0. Nothing really going on as of yet. We had 2 base hits, 1 per team. A couple double plays in both the top of the first and the bottom of the first, and then Sean Kennedy went 1-2-3 in the top of the second inning. So now we're going to the bottom of the second, where the Mammoths are due up. The third baseman Riley Palmer is set to lead it off once these fans finish finding their way off the field.
Yeah, I've noticed about Palmer, he's a chippy guy. He'll let the umpire know what he's thinking. If he doesn't like a call, he'll say something. We haven't seen an ejection yet, but I think Palmer, he could get under the umpire's skin a little bit.
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
Seems like he knows knows what his strike zone should be, and sometimes that doesn't necessarily agree with the umpires.
Well, if they have the patience not to kick anyone out after that game the other night, with that home run off the top of the outfield wall, then I don't know if they're going to eject anyone this season, because the manager for that team at the time just argued and made no headway, and it went on for like 5 minutes, and the umpires did nothing about it.
Yeah, Chris Newell was definitely justified in his argument. I mean, by ruling, it's not a home run, but nonetheless, that's how it was ruled.
There's nothing the umpires can do about it after they have already made the decision. Besides,
exactly.
So arguing was pointless, as that one ball is going to be inside. 2-0 now on Riley Palmer.
We had a little bit of a delay getting some fans off the field for a photo opportunity. And I think I was talking to you one inning in the Mammoths last game that Jeremy Holcomb, there was the same delay, and Holcomb threw 4 straight balls to walk the leadoff hitter. And now Murray's behind in the count 2-0 after that longer delay that we had in the half inning.
Here comes the 2-0 pitch. Swing and a miss, 2-1. And like you mentioned, yeah, you said the next pitch he's going to throw is going to be a ball because it's taking him so long to get the next pitch out because of the fans on the field. USPBL does a great job of appreciating their fans and like the teachers, the veterans, all that stuff. So there's often these picture and photo shoots on the field between innings, but because of that, it can take some time to filter them off, and that can affect the pitcher's arm the next inning. As the 2-1 pitch is in, swing and a miss. Count is even now, 2-2.
And I definitely appreciate what USPBL does with their fans. They're great. It's a great accommodation here at Jimmy John's Field. You feel like you're home when you're coming here to watch a baseball game. Just from a player's perspective, I think that would kind of rub them the wrong way, that they want to keep the game moving and keep their bodies loose.
As that 2-2 pitch is fouled off, so it's going to remain 2-2. And yet, the fans in the end are what determine whether or not your baseball team is profitable if they're coming, and the way the USPBL is doing it is great. The way that they just appreciate them, and all these events happening. Like last night was Little League night, and they do a great job with all these events that happen. But I can see where the baseball players would take that the wrong way as well. But it's just how it is, and unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, as another one's fouled off, so it's going to remain 2-2.
Palmer in his headshot sporting a large red beard, kind of reminiscent of Dallas Keuchel, the Astros starting pitcher, but has recently shaved that off, possibly to get his average up. He's only batting .194 this season.
And there's a lot of cultures as he takes for a ball, counts full now, 3-2. There's actually a lot of cultures that use cutting their hair or dyeing their hair as a symbol of change in their personality. So Riley Palmer, either intentional or unintentional, is kind of mirroring that effect by shaving his beard, almost in a way to say, I'm changing, or attempting to change. As the 3-2 pitch comes in, he's going to foul that one off, so it's going to remain 3-2. And Riley Palmer here, Steve, is giving Donnie Murray a run for his money.
Yeah, well, Murray only threw 5 pitches in the first inning, and they're going to make him work here. He's pumping the strike zone. He got behind 2-0, but he came back with 2 straight strikes. And he's just got to keep throwing strikes and hope Palmer beats one into the ground or pops one up for his infielders.
Yeah, because so far they've thrown, this will be the 9th pitch, as he's going to fly that one high in the air, and Timothy Budd's going to head behind to the plate. He's not going to make the play in foul territory, so it's going to go as a foul ball. And so now we'll see at least 10 pitches in this at-bat. And like you said, 5 pitches in the first. They're going to make sure that they try to work that pitch count up a little higher this time around.
For that play there, that is most definitely Brandon Guilfoyle's ball. And I say that because as a catcher, you have to get up, turn, throw your mask, your immediate reaction is to go back toward the screen, but that ball's going to have that natural backspin that's going to come back toward the field, and Guilfoyle has a better read to come in toward the ball and get under it.
Yeah, Bud over there has to do this awkward backpedaling, and it's just going to be hard for him, as that one's lined over the head of Artizer and into the right field, so that's going to be a base hit. So after a 10-pitch battle, will result in a base hit for Riley Palmer. And shaving the beard is working for the first at-bat at least, as he has a base hit. So now the catcher Kyle Hamner will step in.
It's a great at-bat by Palmer. He made him work, and he finally got a fastball up around the letters that he was able to get good wood on and hit a line drive into right field.
So Riley Palmer will step in with no outs and a man on. Game tied 0-0 between the Mammoths and the Unicorns.
Kyle Hamner, that is. Hamner actually sporting no batting gloves as Murray throws over to first.
That's a bold move, Cotton.
You know, I actually, back when I played at Albion, I never used batting gloves.
That had to hurt.
No, it was just a comfort thing. I was never comfortable. I always liked feeling the bat in my hands and kind of knowing where my hands were on the handle.
But the recoil that is produced when the ball makes contact with the bat, as that one's flied, a blooper over in the right center for a base hit for Kyle Hamner. And the throw in almost gets him, so it'll be a base hit to move Riley Palmer over to second.
Yeah, Palmer almost got back picked there by Brandon Raw in center. He threw to second base and took a hard round like you're taught to do, but it might have been too hard, and he kind of taps himself in the chest looking at Shane McCaddy, and he was able to get back safely. Tried to make him make a play and make him think about it.
Probably a real sigh of relief there, Steve, as he was not going to look forward to that lecture when he got back to the dugout. So Kent Blackstone will step in now with a runner in scoring position, looking to give his team the lead in the bottom of the second.
It's 0-0. It's the bottom of the second. I'll be curious to see if Blackstone here drops down a sacrifice bunt. You got the corner infielders for the Unicorns playing in.
As they throw back to second, but they're not going to get him.
Blackstone hitting in the 6th hole. He's batting 158. He's got 6 RBIs. He's only got 3 hits.
He did have an RBI the last time the Mammoths played, though. He went 1 for 3 with a RBI double, which drove in a run back in their explosive 8th inning.
I think we may see him drop down a sacrifice bunt here.
I think that is a very astute observation, as that one swung on and missed, a strike, 0-1.
Well, maybe I'm wrong. Try and get him a swing here. Now down 0-1, a little bit less likely as Ardiser at first base steps behind the runner, give himself a little more range down the line.
So Kent Blackstone waits on that 0-1 pitch. And here it comes. As that one's going to be grounded foul behind home plate.
Blackstone seems to be in front of everything. I think Murray's 83 miles an hour, probably a changeup. Yeah, and his fastball runs up about 90. He's got an off-speed curveball that's about high 70s. So, it seems like they're keeping Kent Blackstone off balance with some changeups and some curveballs.
Here comes the 0-2 pitch. It's going to be outside by a hair, so it's a ball 1-2. And how much do you think the runners at first and second are affecting how Donnie Murray approaches the batter here, knowing that Kent Blackstone's only batting 158?
Well, it's a 1-2 count, so now I think Murray may be looking more for a strikeout. I think lesser so when the count was 0-0 or 0-1. Now 2-2. Now he's definitely going to be looking for a double play ball out of Blackstone. Hopefully something to the right side. You can get a 4-6-3. Even it would be really beneficial for him if he were able to get a chopper to third and get a 5-3 double play and get 2 outs there. But he wants a new sign from his catcher. But we'll see what happens.
Kent Blackstone, like I mentioned, only hitting 158 on the season, only has 3 hits, but does have 6 RBIs to show for it, as he swings and misses and goes down on strikes. And so that strikeout you were talking about just a moment ago becomes reality. So Tyler McVicker, the man who hit the 2-run home run back in on the Thursday game against the Beavers, will step in.
I've talked recently with McVicker, and he said he's really been working on catching the ball more out front. And if I'm Murray, knowing that, I'm going to approach him with some off-speed pitches and hopefully get him to roll over on a ground ball and force a double play up the middle.
He's batting .235 in the season, so you've got to imagine that he's going to want to improve on that. It's not necessarily the worst average in the world, but it's not where you want it either, as he kind of half swings at that one right to the shortstop. Easy toss to Balkin, going to go down first, so it's going to be a 4-6-3 double play. A half-hearted swing by Tyler McVicker is going to end the inning, and they had runners in scoring position but couldn't score them. So it's going to remain 0-0 going to the top of the third inning, where due up for the Utica Unicorns will be Clay Artizer, the first baseman, the catcher Timothy Budd, and Brett Balkin, the shortstop. So we'll be back shortly. All right, guys, welcome back to the top half of the third inning after a very entertaining performance by the mascot. And what player was that? Was it number 11?
Number 11. He's not on the active roster, but he and one of the superstars over there were having a great dance battle.
Yeah, that was very entertaining, and I could have asked for anything better. I was laughing my tail off over here. So now Clay Artizer will lead off for the Utica Unicorns.
Artizer had a walk-off hit. I believe it was against the Diamond Hoppers in an 8-7 victory.
You would be correct, and that was at the bottom of, like you said, walk-offs. It was bottom of the ninth inning. They started the inning down 2-2, and that came a day after, as that one's in for a strike 0-1. That came a day after they had the same situation down by 2 with bases loaded and couldn't finish. So they redeemed themselves. So Clay Artizer betting 270 has shown that he can perform in clutch situations, as that one's going to be in there for a ball, 1-1.
We've got a nice pitcher's duel so far between Kennedy and Donnie Murray of the Unicorns, and you know, in the major leagues today, we saw a great pitching performance of the Miami Marlins. Edison Volquez threw a no-hitter, threw less than 100 pitches, got the Maddox, which is a shutout under 100 pitches. So, congratulations to him.
And that was actually his first win of the year, if I am correct. His team's struggling. I guess he decided to take matters in his own hands and guarantee the win.
Yeah, his team was able to get him some insurance runs in the 8th inning and get him the no-hit victory as Artizer strikes out looking on a fastball in the outside corner.
Sean Kennedy continuing to have a good game through, now 2 1/3 innings. I know it's still early yet, an inning can change, but they've done a great job. He's done a great job at controlling the batters at the plate.
You know, the key for a lot of pitchers is to get that first strike. When you get that 0-0 strike, you go down to 0-1, and you can really work with all your pitches and give yourself a good opportunity to get batters out.
So Timothy Budd, who's batting .313, steps in and takes for a ball on his first pitch, 1-0. As the 1-0 pitch comes in, outside, 2-0 now. Timothy Budd, the last time the Unicorns played, Well, he did not play, actually. The last time the Unicorns played, it was Javon Hernandez, so help me out here. It's 2-1 now on Timothy Budd.
Looks like Bud may have pinch ran for Hernandez after he got on one at bat.
And he flies that one foul into the patio in right field.
You know, I've noticed this season in the USPBL that a lot of the catchers seem to be more defensive minded. There's no real standout catcher that's an offensive power hitter. And, you know, Tim Budd has no homers, no RBIs. He's got 5 hits. He's batting .313 as he fouls that one off to the left side.
So the count will remain even 2-2. Yeah, like you mentioned, there's not really any catchers that are power hitters, but Timothy Budd's done a good job of at least getting on base and setting up for his team. He's got, like you mentioned, no RBIs and no home runs, but he has come around to score 4 times. So at least he's effective at getting on the base paths as he flies that one foul.
Yeah, if you can get on base for your team, you're going to give them a chance to win, keep them in the game, and hopefully help them to a victory. Batting in the 8 hole today, he and Brett Balkin can get on, and Taylor Gilikowski and Mike Rampone can bring him around.
So Mike Rampone also did not play the last time the Unicorns did. He's actually DHing today, if I'm correct. And that pitch is going to be inside for a ball, 3-2, full count now.
Unicorns look like they're trying to really work good at bats against Kennedy, get his pitch count up.
He's at 3-2. It's going to be inside for a walk. So after getting behind in count 0-2, he fights his way back to a 3-2 walk.
First walk of the day for Kennedy, hopefully the last.
Well, I'm sure his team hopes that's the case, but the Utica Unicorns have other ideas as Brett Balkin steps in now, his first at-bat of the ball game, batting in the 9th spot. Brett Balkin, last time the Unicorns played, he went 1 for 3. He got hit by pitch in his first 2 at-bats. Miles Richards struggling with his control in that ball game. And that was the hit by pitch by Brett Balkin was Miles Richards' last batter faced as well.
Hamner and Kennedy have a meeting at the mound. I won't be surprised to see the runner on the move should Balkin get into a 2-0 or a 3-1 count, try and get a hit and run going, try and jumpstart some of this offense. If they're able to do that successfully, they can come up to the top of the lineup with Gilikowski, Rampone, and Doyle and really start to move runners and score some runs.
If you can get on with Taylor Gilikowski coming up, you have a good chance of scoring because Taylor Gilikowski, like we mentioned earlier, is just one of the more consistent guys in the batter's boxes. That one's in for a strike, 1-1 now.
You know, there's the leadoff hitters for almost every team in the league. Farrell's a solid hitter for the Mammoths. Gilikowski, as we've talked about, is very good for the Unicorns, but Donandre Clark of the Beavers batting about .460 now after his game last night. He was 2 for 4. He went in batting .442, and he has just been on a tear lately. It seems like he's on base every at-bat. And on the other side, Ricky Castro, the Diamond Hoppers, he's got a few RBIs. He's batting just under .400, and he is a solid shortstop in the leadoff hole for the Diamond Hoppers.
Meanwhile, Balkin waits on the 1-2, swings and grounds it over to the shortstop, and he bobbles it. Going to toss on to first, but it's not going to be in time. So I'd imagine that's going to be fielded as an error for the shortstop, Jeff Smith.
You'd have to think, but I'm sure the official scorer will contemplate if he was going to beat that out. It was a slow ground ball.
I'm not the official scorer, but I think that Jeff Smith would have been able to get him if he hadn't have bobbled that on the ground.
Yeah, Palmer wasn't able to cut it off, and it's going to go as an error.
So E6 it is, as Taylor Gilikowski steps in. He had a base hit his last time up. And like you were mentioning, if you can get runners in scoring position for Taylor Gilikowski, you have a good chance to give the Utica Unicorns the lead here. As he swings and flies that one right into the glove, and they're going to double it up there. He swings that right into the glove of Kent Blackstone over at second base, and I eat my words as he throws that right over to the shortstop Jeff Smith to double up Tim Budd at second. So after that double play, we're going to go to the bottom half of the third inning, tied 0-0. We're due up for the Westside Woolly Mammoths will be Hagen Wilkie, Jordan Barnes, and Java Farrell. Welcome back, everyone, to the bottom half of the third inning. Brian Fisher and Steve Markowski with you here in a 0-0 ball game. And due up for the Westside Woolly Mammoths here is going to be Hagen Wilkie.
Wilkie stands in. He's the DH today for the Mammoths. Batting only 105 on the season. He drives that one to left.
That ball,
this one's deep. And it's going to get out of here.
That's going to come off the scoreboard in the left center field. So it's going to be a solo shot to give the Westside Woolly Mammoths the lead here. Hagen Wilkie, the DH, coming up big here for the Westside Woolly Mammoths early in this ball game.
Taking advantage of Donnie Murray, who's throwing a lot of strikes today. And it's good to see Wilkie finally get off the snide and really put good wood on the ball and drilled it off the netting on the scoreboard.
Good call, Steve. I'm proud of you. That was a good one.
Appreciate it, Brian.
So, Jordan Barnes will step in now. His first plate appearance of the ball game, as Donnie Murray's been doing good work, going through only 7 batters of the required, or the only going through 7 batters in the first 2 innings, 6 being the minimum, as the first pitch that Jordan Barnes sees is going to be a strike, 0-1.
If you're going to give up a run, just give it up with one swing.
Here comes the 0-1. That's swung and a miss, 0-2. And yeah, the solo shot's, a lot less dangerous than having runners on base with, that's obvious. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. It's going to fly that one pretty high into left center field. Grelikowski's going to be underneath it, though, and make the play. So it'll be 1 out now.
Murray's the kind of pitcher that knows how to bounce back from home runs like that, from big innings, and he's not going to let the Mammoths get too far ahead here. I'm sure he's going to try and limit the damage here to just that 1 run.
Well, like we've mentioned, Donnie Murray's had a great season so far across the 16 innings pitched. He only has a ERA of 3.38 with a whip of 1. So you're not going to see many plays like that. As the first pitch to Jabba Farrell's a swing and a miss for a strike.
He's throwing 89, which seems about a little above average from what we've seen here. A lot of the relievers throw mid to high 80s, and the starters are around 89 or 90. I'm thinking there might be some live action on his ball. He's got good ride through the zone as he tries to drop down a bunt, but it's going to go foul.
So it's 0-2 now in Jabba Farrell, and yeah, his fastball's not up there. So he, like you mentioned, he's got to be something like that. There has to be a lot of movement on one of his off-speed pitches that's just tripping up these batters. He's got to be in their head or something.
When I say he has good ride through the zone, the spin rate on his fastball, that means each ball goes down at a downward trajectory toward the catcher's glove, and a good ride through the zone almost makes it rise. Mm-hmm. It appears that it rises, but obviously a ball can't do this. He swings and misses. That'll be the second out. But it just might be something that the hitters suspect that it's going to be lower or higher than the ball actually ends up.
So after that, it's going to be the second strikeout for Donnie Murray in this ball game, and it's going to be 2 outs here in the bottom of the third inning. A solo shot by Hagen Wilkie earlier in this inning gives the Westside Woolly Mammoths a 1-0 lead. So Alex Abbott will step in now with 2 outs and try to keep this train going. He bats as a lefty.
Alex Abbott, a Tifton, Georgia native.
He's batting .280 on the season, so he's been doing a pretty good job at the plate getting on base, and he comes up big when he's needed to with 2 home runs and 5 RBIs across his 7 hits. As it's going to be a ball 1-0 to him now. Here comes the 1-0. A ball, 2-0 now.
Drafted by the Los Angeles Angels in the 6th round in 2014. Out of Tifton County High School.
Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Going to be inside for a ball, 3-0 count. Definitely not what Donnie Murray had planned.
In any level of baseball, it seems like walks and errors always come around to score, and those freebies really bite other teams.
As that one's going to be way inside and going to be an easy walk for Alex Abbott, as he was really not really offered anything to swing at. And like you just mentioned, Steve, these walks that come around to score, they really do bite these teams in the rear end, I suppose to say, where if you're going to give up runs, you want to make the other team work for it, but not making them work for it just stings all the more.
It's kind of like salt in the wound.
Yeah, exactly. As Jeff Smith will step in, batting a powerful .357 on the season, but he did hit into a double play his first time up to end the first inning.
You know, with 2 outs, the walk isn't going to kill him, but an extra base hit here will most likely score Abbott. Abbott's got good speed as an outfielder.
As they throw down to first, trying to keep that speed down there like you just mentioned.
I don't think we'll see him on the move here with 2 outs.
Be a risky play.
Unless Smith gets ahead in the count. So he's got a fairly generous lead.
And they're going to swing and miss, but
They
they're going
got
to
him.
pick him off down there at first. And Jeff Smith, or Alex Abbott, slams his helmet down in frustration. So that'll end the inning. So after the Hagen-Wilkie home run, it's going to be a 1-0 lead for the Westside Woolly Mammoths, going to the top of the 4th inning, where due up for the Utica Unicorns will be Mike Rampone, Luke Doyle, and Brandon Rawl as they look to tie this ball game back up. Welcome back, everyone. Brian Fisher and Steve Morosky here for the top of the 4th inning, where due up for the Utica Unicorns is Mike Rampone. He grounded out he flew out the last time up and ended up getting doubled up. He flew out to Joe Farrell at first, and they threw down to first to get Taylor Galikowski retreating.
Yeah, Rampone had good wood on that last at-bat. See if he can repeat that as the first ball misses high.
So, yeah, 1-0 now on Mike Rampone after that one missed high, so the 1-0 comes in. That one's in there for a strike, 1-1. It's a 1-0 ball game in favor of the Westside Woolly Mammoths after Hagen-Wilkie hit a solo shot in the last half inning, as that one skied foul, 1-2.
Seeing the shadow cast across home plate, it's going to make it tougher for the hitters to pick up the ball since it's coming from a light area to a dark area.
So you'll probably see a lot more swings and misses in the early half of the game than you might in the bottom half. Obviously, a lot has to do with how well the pitchers are pitching.
Both pitchers doing very well pitching to contact and making sure their defense is involved.
Only one mistake given up by Donnie Murray has given the Westside Woolly Mammoths the lead, but overall they've both been doing a great job. As that one's going to miss inside. Count is even at 2 apiece.
Good turnout today. A lot of people on the hill in right field, and the grandstands are about 3/4 full.
As that ball is flown up the middle, but going to be into the glove of Blackstone over there at second base, as it was just kind of looped over there. So that'll be 1 up, 1 down for the Utica Unicorns here. Luke Doyle will step in, looking to get things going.
Doyle batting from the left side, sporting the red cleats.
Very fashionable.
Kind of complimentary to the purple base of the uniform for the Unicorns. Appears to be using an all-black bat.
I still don't understand how you could bat without gloves. That's like me just taking a slap shot without gloves. He breaks his bat on that one at the base, and Bloop singles that one over down the first base line. The bat almost went as far as the ball did, but it went over the head of Tyler McVicker down there at first base into the outfield.
For McVicker there, the first reaction, you're not going to watch the ball, you're going to watch that barrel of the bat. It's the bigger object, and it's still coming towards you.
The end of it's sharp, too.
Yeah, but it's coming towards you, and your first reaction is to get out of the way, and your second reaction is to go find the ball.
Yeah.
But by that time, the ball was in no man's land, and Doyle had himself a nice bloop single, but he's going to need some new lumber when he comes to the plate next time.
My question to you, though, Steve, is how far do you think that ball would have flown if it hadn't have broken the bat?
I don't think it would have gone much farther.
You don't think so?
It was an inside fastball. First pitch misses high and away. It was an inside fastball. So if it hadn't have broken the bat, it still would have jammed enough, maybe for Barnes in right field to make the play. But I still think he'd be on first regardless.
Meanwhile, the 1-0 pitch comes in, and it's going to be in there for a ball, 2-0 now.
Good block by Hamner there to stay down on the ball and retrieve it with his chest protector.
You're going to want to keep an eye on Luke Doyle down there at first base. He's got some speed on the base pads.
The 2-0 count now. Unicorns down 1-0. Could see a hit and run. Never out of the question.
Sean Kennedy, a lefty on the mound. It makes it much easier to keep an eye on the first baseman since he's facing that direction, as that one's going to be in there for a ball. 3-0 now on Brandon Raw. Brandon Raw grounding out, or flying out his last time up, right to the shortstop, Jeff Smith.
Seems the Unicorns like the Western boys. Doyle out of Phoenix, Arizona, and Raw out of Dallas, Texas.
As that one's in there for a strike, 3-1. And yeah, Steve, that's one observation I've made a couple of times, is just that a lot of our players come from the west half of the country. We've had a lot of Arizonas, a lot of California, a couple of Texases. It's just, maybe because it's the warmer states, you can't play baseball all year long, as that one's flown right to the center fielder, Jabba Farrell. It takes a couple steps in to make the play. So we're going to have 2 outs now with a runner at first base and a 1-0 lead for the the Westside Woolly Mammoths.
Well, not only that, but we have a lot of local kids too. A lot of guys went to high school around the area, from small towns around the area. The Unicorns just signed a pitcher from Kalamazoo College, only about 2.5 hours west of here. So it's very local, but it's also kind of a nationwide thing as well.
Well, like you mentioned, Taylor Kelikowski is one of those local kids. He started the season about a week or two late compared to everyone else, and has come out of Fraser and just dominating.
Yeah, played at Madonna University. As that first pitch misses inside to Cruz.
1-0 on him.
He's an all-conference player for them.
Madonna University, one of the smaller ones around here, but very private. As he swings and misses at that one, he did get a piece of that, but it's still going to be a strike nonetheless. So 1-1.
Yeah, you don't realize, you think about Michigan University, or University of Michigan, Michigan State University, Oakland University, some of the big schools. There's a lot of small schools around here, too, that produce very good baseball players.
That one's in for a strike, 1-2. Interesting to hear you say you consider Oakland University a big school, because that's where I go to school. So it makes me feel a little bit happy hearing that.
Well, I think about it, and I think it's, for athletics, it's Division I. It's
true.
It's big for the Midwest region, I think.
As that one's chopped foul, I should say.
I mean, I go to Albion College, which was the same student body size as my high school. So, it's quite small, but you get Western Michigan, Central Michigan, a lot of schools that you see competing for different national championships on different sports and different stages.
As the 1-2 misses outside, 2-2, count is even now. And it's not just Michigan State and University of Michigan, if I can speak properly. Michigan Tech as well has a very good athletic program, especially when it comes to hockey. They're always competing for the national championships. That one's going to get away from Hamner into the netting, and that's going to allow Luke Doyle to advance to second base on that wild pitch.
Yeah, definitely not what Kennedy wanted. Now he's got a full count on Cruz, and Cruz just needs to put something into the outfield and something that's not caught into the outfield.
Yeah, preferably.
That'll score Doyle and tie the game up at 1.
Yeah, even a ground ball base hit through one of the left or right sides will score Luke Doyle, because Luke Doyle's got more speed on the base paths than, let's say, Mike Rampone would, as he flies that one down the first base line, but it's playable by Jordan Barnes. Make the catch. So after the wild pitch advances Luke Doyle, they will not score, so it's going to remain a 1-0 lead for the Westside Woolly Mammoths as we go to the bottom half of the 4th inning. Due up for the Mammoths in the bottom of the 4th will be the shortstop Jeff Smith, followed by Riley Palmer and Kyle Hamner. So we'll be back shortly. Welcome back, everyone, to the bottom half of the 4th inning. It's a 1-0 ball game in favor of the Westside Woolly Mammoths after a Hagen-Wilkie home run in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. Put them up. So Jeff Smith will lead off now. He was at bat when the inning ended last inning because Alex Abbott got picked off at first from a good throw from Timothy Budd behind the plate.
Yeah, Abbott had probably a 15-foot lead, and I'm not really sure what the objective was. He may have picked up a wrong sign from Shane McCaddy at third base, but
Jeff Smith's going to meanwhile fly that one into the netting, so it's 0-1 on him now.
But it caught me off guard how big the lead was, and he got his normal secondary, and Tim Budd behind the plate was just able to throw over and got him by a few steps.
Yeah, it wasn't really even close. Alex Abbott just nowhere to be found on that play. 0-2 now on Jeff Smith. Jeff Smith the last time up hit into a double play. 5-4-3 to end the 1st inning. As we wait on the 0-2 pitch, here's the delivery. Going to be in for a ball, 1-2 now. And the Tigers, Steve, for the 2nd consecutive game have blown out the White Sox.
Seems like it's starting to come together. Good pitching. Offense is starting to work together. And you got Michael Fulmer and Jordan Zimmerman, both with quality starts.
As Jeff Smith's going to strike out looking.
Great change up there by Murray. Caught the outside corner. It started a little bit away and faded back over the outside corner, and that's exactly what you want as a pitcher.
So Riley Palmer will step in now. He hit for a base hit his last time up, giving a real struggle for Donnie Murray, going, I believe, 10 pitches in that at-bat. And Jordan Zimmerman finally, like you mentioned, Steve, just having a good outing. He went 7 innings pitched with only 1 earned run. And that's what you need out of a pitcher like that. You need him to step up if that Tigers team is going to compete.
Well, they also need to stay more consistent both on the mound and at the plate, and that one's fouled off to the right side. But consistency is key. If you're not consistent in baseball, it's going to be very tough to go anywhere.
Well, I'm sorry. Going into the season, we were fearing that the bullpen would be our biggest weakness, thinking that the starting lineup and the starting rotation and the hitting would be fine, but it's been the other way around. The bullpen's been one of our most consistent since May, while the other way around has been poor, as Artis is going to bobble that one but make the play at first, so it's going to be a 2-pitch ground out for Donnie Murray, and it's going to be 2 up, 2 down in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Yeah, the bullpen for the Tigers has been a nice surprise as of late. Personally, I'm not sure it's sustainable. You know, you've got guys throwing well, but at some point, their arms are going to start to wear out.
Well, Alex Wilson and Justin Wilson have been consistent since the season started, but Shane Green has appeared lately as one who you wouldn't have expected to, but it seems he's finally found his form.
Yeah, I think the Tigers may stick with him in the back end of the bullpen. He's going to be a nice setup guy.
As Riley Palmer fouls that one down the third base line, 0-1. Or Kyle Hamner, not Riley Palmer, my bad.
I think he's going to be a nice addition to the back end of the bullpen. May get a spot start here and there, but you know, as he is more of a relief pitcher as of late, his arm's going to be more conditioned to throw just shorter innings.
As that one's going to be chopped over to the third baseman. They're going to long throw down to first, but they're going to get him by about a step. It's going to be a 1-2-3 inning for Donnie Murray, so it'll remain a 1-0 lead for the Westside Woolly Mammoths going into the top of the 5th inning. And going into the top of the 5th, the Utica Unicorns have Brandon Guilfoyle leading off, followed by the first baseman Clay Artizer, the man who just made that final out, and Timothy Budd, the catcher. So we'll be back shortly. Welcome back, everyone, to the top half of the 5th inning, where we had more Superstars antics, and I gotta say, they're really entertaining, Steve.
Yeah, we had Squidney Crosby here, a little preview of the Stanley Cup Finals here. As you can catch that game on NBC tonight, Nashville Predators and Pittsburgh Penguins.
You probably saw it on your screen. It was just down the third base line, and he ate one of the grounds crew members, and I was just dying laughing. I honestly, going into the game, was a little bit skeptical. I mean, we already have our own mascots. I was like, do we really need more? But these guys are killing it, and they're just doing a fantastic job. So meanwhile, Brandon Guilfoyle will step in. He's struck out his first time up. He takes a big cut at that one and misses, so it's 0-1 on him.
It seems Kennedy's being really effective with that fastball up. He's getting a lot of swings and misses. He may, just like Murray, have good ride through the zone, and it's going to appear that ball's on a downward angle, and if it stays up and gets some swing and misses, that one's fouled back to the screen.
0-2 because of that. Brandon Guilfoyle, like we mentioned earlier, went 2 for 4 in his first game at the USPBL. So he's got the ability to get on base. Again, small sample size. Let's see if he can come through here and maybe get something going for the Utica Unicorns. As he swings and misses at the 0-2 pitch and strikes out for the second time today, this time swinging. So it'll be a quick out for Sean Kennedy as he continues to work through 4 1/3 inning. And Clay Artizer will step in now. He struck out looking his last time up as well.
Artizer, a big left-handed bat. He's got a long swing. He's got a lot of pop. You can see him put the ball out of the ballpark. He does pull the ball quite often. Infield plays him straight up for the most part.
As that one's in for a ball, 1-0. He just does a really good job in clutch situations. I don't know what it is. He just plays really well under pressure. As that one's outside again, 2-0.
Well, the human body's meant to perform under pressure. And, you see guys kind of reminiscing to Derek Jeter. Those guys, they love the pressure situations. And, Ardizer may just have the right mindset to come through in those situations.
Well, he generally has good patience at the plate as well. It's quickly 3-0 on him now. He's drawn 3 walks on the season, and he has 10 hits. And just at the plate in general, and he's a solid first baseman too. And man, he's tall. That's a wild pitch. As that one's nowhere near Hamner behind the plate, so it's going to be a 4-pitch walk. So after striking out Guilfoyle, he has trouble with his command there.
A lot of times when you see that kind of at-bat as a manager of the pitcher, it could be a little nerve-wracking because you think, okay, you strike the first guy out on 3 pitches, and then you throw 4 straight balls, the last one being not even catchable by the catcher. You think, is he hurt? Is there an injury? But seems to be fine as he gets back on the rubber and goes to work against Tim Budd.
Is it possible that maybe he's just slightly intimidated? Because matchup to matchup, Clay Artizer is he's a tall guy out there, and a big guy. They bunt that one down the third base line, and it's going to go foul for a strike, 0-1.
I can't imagine there's an intimidation factor there. These guys, they know each other well. I'm fairly certain they live together in the same proximity. They play against each other many times over the course of the summer, and I don't think there's really an intimidation factor with anybody. Maybe Nick Wilson, who for the Beavers is a strong first baseman and can hit the ball out of the ballpark when called upon.
As the 0-1 count comes in, he's going to fly that one into foul territory. McVicker's going to come over, and it's going to be just too far for him. So it'll land foul, 0-2 on Timothy Budd. So Timothy Budd, last time up, he drew a walk, advanced to second, but then the inning ended there. He's batting .313 on the season. He's got no home runs and no RBIs. And we talked last time he was up, Steve, about how there's not really a power-hitting catcher in any of the ball clubs, but how Bud just does a great job of getting on base in general as he skies that one over to right field. But playable for Barnes, so he'll make the catch as Artizer retreats back to first.
Now batting for the Unicorns, the shortstop, number 15.
I noticed with Bud there, he doesn't use batting gloves either.
I feel like you guys are insane. Doesn't that hurt the hands?
Not if you hit it right. Not if you're a good hitter and you get the barrel on the ball. It's the best feeling in the world when you're hitting a baseball and you don't feel anything. You just see the ball jump off the bat into a gap in the left center, right center field. It's one of the best feelings in sports, in my opinion.
Because having played hockey, it's a similar, you use a stick to hit, an object, and if you don't wear gloves and you try to take, say, a slap shot, the moment your stick makes contact with the ice, you're feeling it in the palms of your hands. You can maybe take 1 or 2 and you're like, okay, I need my gloves back.
I definitely understand that. I've played a few games of pond hockey without gloves, and it's rough on the hands, not only taking shots and things like that, but when guys are trying to get the puck from you and slashing your hands.
Oh, God, that's painful.
You need gloves in hockey, whereas baseball, you don't need them, but for a lot of guys, they're definitely assets to help them perform better at the plate.
That one's flown foul, so 0-2 on Brett Balkin. And maybe it also has to do with the climate in which the sport is played, because generally, baseball's played during the warmer months. I know during April and October it gets a little bit cooler, but when it's colder, you feel your hands a lot more when you make contact on that object. So maybe that has a factor of it too. I know professionally you play in a room temperature building and the ice is frozen from underneath, but that one's lined for a base hit into right field, and Clay Artizer is going to stop at second. So with 2 outs, you're going to have 2 men on.
Now batting the left fielder, number 19.
Yeah, as it gets warmer, the pine tar for baseball players is a must, even if you use gloves, because you never know when that bat's going to slip out of the hand, and if you have the pine tar with you, you should be fine as long as you're using the right amount on your handle and in between the barrel and the handle of the bat.
So Taylor Galikowski is going to step in. He bats as a lefty. There is a runner at first and second. Clay Artizer is in scoring position up there at second base, and the Unicorns have a chance to tie this ball game as Galikowski takes for a ball, 1-0 now.
Kennedy at 71 pitches now through 4 2/3 innings.
He just needs one more out to get out of this, as that one's going to be singled up the middle for a base hit, and Artizer's going to round third base, try and come home, as that throw in from center field is actually going to hit Brett Balkin on his way to third. But meanwhile, Clay Artizer is going to score and tie the ball game at 1 apiece.
And that's what we were talking about with Galikowski. He's just a solid leadoff hitter. That's a great single up the middle. He got good wood on it, and he was able to drive that run in. Artizer had a good secondary. That's a big part of it. And they would have had Balkin at third had the throw been to the outside of the bag as it was supposed to be. As you saw, Palmer was set up to the outside of the bag. He had to move to the inside in the line of Balkin and ended up hitting him in the back.
Yeah, the throw inside, or the throw into the infield, like you just mentioned, ended up hitting in the back. And at that moment, you kind of saw him it looked like it caught him by surprise. He ended up sliding into third base because at that moment he knew the ball was a lot closer than it was supposed to be. As that first pitch to Mike Rampone's in for a ball, 1-0. But now the game is tied at 1 apiece thanks to the Taylor Galikowski RBI single just a moment ago. Earlier in the ball game, it was Hagen Wilkie who hit a solo shot home run to left center. So that hit the scoreboard. So it's going to be 2-0 now on Mike Rampone.
There's actually a netting in front of all of the boards, and right under the Hungry Howie's logo on the left side of the scoreboard, I believe it hit the netting in between the yellow line and the bottom of the scoreboard, but nonetheless it was still a nice swing from Wilkie.
So that ball's going to be way inside, 3-0 now. And if you're a manager at this point, are you a little bit concerned with Sean Kennedy because his first batter he faced, he struck out on 3 pitches, then he walked Clay Artizer on 4 straight pitches, and now to Mike Rampone, he's thrown, well, now he throws a strike, but he threw 3 straight balls to start it off.
Well, I see one guy in the bullpen starting to stir, starting to get stretched out, but I think I want to see where this at bat with Rampone goes before I make any rash decisions, and possibly make sure I get an arm warmed up in the bullpen. It's tipped in the glove. Comes a full count, so the runner on first will be on the move.
So after throwing 3 straight balls, he's now got 2 strikes for that full count.
Looks like David Ernst in the bullpen, who actually got the start for the Mammoths in a win recently.
So with 2 outs and a 3-2 count, like you mentioned, Steve, you'll probably see the runners on the move here. As that one's lined down the third base line, and that's going to score a run. And you're going to see Taylor Galikowski advance all the way to first. This is going to be and they're going to send him home, and Galikowski's going to score. This is going to be a RBI double for Mike Rampone to give the Utica Unicorns the lead here in the top of the 5th inning.
Did a good job of, Kennedy did a good job of working back from a 3-0 count. But it was Rampone who got the last laugh, and he was able to line that ball down the left field line and score 2 runs and make it a 3-1 game in favor of the Unicorns.
Mike Rampone coming into this ball game batting only 1-1-1, managed to get that double RBI down the third base line past Riley Palmer at third. There's going to be a meeting at the mound here. I'd imagine this meeting is probably to give the man in the bullpen more time to warm up because he just started stretching. Now he's throwing now. That being Ernst, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, Ernst is going to start getting up, start getting hot. They're going to hope that Kennedy can finish this inning if he's able to get Doyle out here and limit the damage to just the 3 runs. But, I don't think the Mammoths are going to be done scoring runs. I think they're going to eventually get to Donnie Murray. Murray's got a great pitch count right now. He's only at 41 through 4 innings. So we'll see if Murray can continue his trend of making quick work of the Mammoths or if the Mammoths can start scoring runs.
And if Sean Kennedy manages to get out of this inning, you have a whole half inning in which he's able, Ernst out in the bullpen is going to be able to warm up and really get comfortable out there.
Yeah, when you rush yourself in the bullpen and go to the game mound, it takes some time for your heart rate to slow and for you to get in the mindset, and that can cause you to leave balls up in the zone and really get tagged for a couple of runs.
So Luke Doyle will step in now, as that ball's going to be flown foul, as McVicker's going to try and make the catch. He does in the foul territory. So it's now it's going to be a 3-2 lead for the Utica Unicorns. Going to the bottom of the fifth inning as Kennedy's finally able to get out of this inning. And going into the bottom of the fifth, the Mammoths have Kent Blackstone leading it off, followed by Tyler McVicker, the man who just made that catch in foul territory, and Hagen Wilkie, the man with the solo shot. So we'll be back shortly. Welcome back, everyone, to the bottom half of the fifth inning after the Utica Unicorns put up 3 in the top half thanks to an two RBI double by Mike Rampone and an RBI single by Taylor Galikowski. So the Westside Woolly Mammoths will come in looking to retaliate and tie this ball game back up and possibly take the lead. Leading off for the Westside Woolly Mammoths is Kent Blackstone, the second baseman, struck out swinging his first time up.
Could be time for the Mammoths to change the offensive approach a little bit. Blackstone takes a ball low.
You can't really depend on solo shots to win a ball game now, can you, Steve?
No, not usually. I was thinking might see Blackstone possibly drop down a bunt for a base hit attempt, but third baseman's in. Ardizer's in a little bit from his normal position at first.
That one's flown foul, so 1-1 now on Blackstone.
But we should see the Mammoths try and do different things on the base pass and at the plate.
As that ball's going to be inside for a ball, 2-1. And Donnie Murray has been doing good work today. He's only at 44 pitches as of yet. And here comes the 2-1. And part of the reason the Westside Woolly Mammoths only have 1 run is because Donnie Murray's been making quick work of this Westside Woolly Mammoths offense. He's seen the minimum of 3 batters 2 times, and in the other 2 innings he hasn't. It's been only 4 batters. As that one's flown deep over into right center field, but not deep enough, as Raw is going to make the catch, just shy of the warning track.
Now batting the first baseman, number 22.
It's a good swing by Blackstone, just hit it to the deepest part of the park, and Raw was able to track it down, but credit to Murray as well. He gave him a pitch to hit. Blackstone, not sure about his power numbers, doesn't have a home run on the season, but he can make good contact. Like I said, just hit it to the deepest part of the park and wasn't able to get down for him.
And like you said earlier, Steve, it's just how baseball is sometimes. You can make good contact on it, but just unfortunate where that ball ended up. And as the first pitch to McVicker's in for a strike, 0-1. McVicker hit into a inning-ending double play back in the second inning.
McVicker's got the high socks on today. He's got a leg guard and an elbow guard. Also no batting gloves.
As the 0-1 comes in, 0-2.
Always a big proponent of that.
Yeah, I never played baseball competitively. I played a couple sandlot games here and there. Obviously, I didn't, so I never needed batting gloves, but the pitches are slow enough that you didn't feel it. So I can't really, I guess, say whether or not I'm a proponent of batting gloves, as he swings and misses at that one. And it's going to be a strikeout swinging for Tyler McVicker. And the fourth strikeout for Donnie Murray on the evening.
Well, the whole batting gloves thing really comes down to personal preference. Like I said, I just like to feel the bat in my hands. I like to know where my hands were on the handle. And, it's kind of an old school thing before batting gloves were
I have a question for you then. Did you have your socks pulled up to your knees, or did you have the pants over the socks?
I never had my socks pulled up to my knees. I looked about 3 inches shorter than I already am with the high socks.
The first pitch Hagen Wilkie sees is a 1-0. Last time up, Hagen Wilkie hit the solo shot, the lone RBI for the Westside Woolly Mammoths on this ball game. Yeah, I think some players can pull off the pants tucked in, but overall, I think players look better with the pants all the way down to the shoes. As the 1-0 comes in, as he grounds that one over the third baseman Guilfoyle. Makes the easy throw, and it's going to be a 1-2-3 inning for Donnie Murray as he continues to cruise through 5 innings of baseball. So we go to the top of the 6th inning with a 3-1 lead in favor of the Utica Unicorns. As leading off for the Unicorns will be Brandon Raw, Chris Cruz, and the man who got the assist on that last play, Brandon Guilfoyle. So we'll be back shortly. Welcome back, everyone, to the top of the 6th inning, and we've had a pitching change. After the 3-run inning for the Unicorns, they knocked Kennedy out of the game. The final line for Sean Kennedy is 5 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. So if he would have gone 1 more inning, Steve, it would have been qualified as a quality start, but unfortunately he got knocked out in the 5th inning thanks to the explosion of offense from the Unicorns.
Yeah, the pitch count started to run up, but David Ernst looking to take over and keep the Unicorns bats in check, as Ernst has thrown 11 innings on the season, doesn't have a decision. He's given up 9 hits. He's walked 7 and struck out 9. He's given up 1 earned run.
He's got that dominating .82 ERA on the season as well, so look for him to continue to dominate from the mound and maybe silence these Utica Unicorns bats to give his team a chance, as the first ball to Brandon Raw is going to be inside, 1-0 now.
I find it interesting, his whip is actually 1.45, so that one's cued foul, but his ERA is .82, so obviously he needs to work on the walks to strikeouts ratio. It's 9-7 right now, which isn't great, but if he can limit his walks and pitch to contact, I'm sure he'll be fine.
That kind of statistics reminds me a lot of Jose Valverde when he was closing for the Tigers. He would always get the save, but always give up like walks and hits to load the bases before he finally gets it out.
So likes to make things interesting and give the fans something to cheer about, whether you like him or hate him.
But at the end of the day, he gets it done, so we'll see if Water's going to find its level or if that's just how he is. Brandon Raw swings and misses at that one and goes down on strikes.
It's a good slider there at 79 in the dirt. Started in the strike zone, was able to fade away. Down, nice block by Hamner, and he's able to tag him out for the put-out.
So that'll be 1 up, 1 down now for the Utica Unicorns, as Chris Cruz will step in. He flew out to the center fielder and the right fielder his first 2 times up.
Cruz batting .211 on the season, has 1 homer and 6 RBIs. 38 at-bats. He's only got 8 hits, but he scored 6 runs. He's also walked 5 times.
As the first pitch to Cruz is in, it'll be called a strike, 0-1 on him now.
He's got an open stance, hands held about ear high, wiggles the bat in rhythm.
As the 0-1 pitch is going to be outside for a ball, 1-1. And with his hands held that high, Steve, do you think those pitches inside would get to him a little more?
Well, we've seen him be able to get the hands in and really turn on some pitches and put them down the right field lines. That one's cued foul down the third base line.
Yeah, he chopped that one, but after the first bounce, it just ended up foul territory. But it got the defenders in motion nonetheless. It's 1-2 on him.
You know, his hands aren't high enough where he can't pull his hands in, but they're at a good height so that he's able to really drop the bat head on that low and inside pitch that left-handed hitters love so much. And he's also able to keep them high on the high and outside pitches that he's able to protect with 2 strikes.
So he's also displayed some good patience at the plate, as he's drawn 5 walks on the season. Doing a good job of laying off the pitches he has to, as that pitch in the dirt is in for a ball, 2-2. Count is all even now.
A lot of times when pitches are in the dirt, you'll see catchers change the ball with the umpire. I guess Hamner wanted Ernst to stick with the same ball, as he just picked it up and threw it back to him.
And the 2-2 pitch is chopped foul down the first base line. And Chris Cruz isn't one to get out easily either. In his second plate appearance, he went out on 6 pitches, and now we're at 5 pitches in this at-bat, so we'll see at least 6 here. So he's good at least running up the pitch count on the pitchers.
Native of Bay Shore, New York, went to Cornell University.
As he flies that one in foul territory, Palmer's going to not be able to get it, so it's going to remain 2-2. And with all that foul territory over there, it's tough sometimes for those infielders to get over and get it. We saw earlier in the game, I believe it was Mick Vicker over on the right side, just a step or 2 short of being able to catch it in foul territory.
Yeah, it gives players an opportunity to get a lot of balls that would be foul balls into the stands in most other ballparks, but
it's really a defensive asset when you're out there on the field, and I'm sure the defense loves it and the batters hate it, as that one's fouled off. So it'll remain 2-2 as Chris Cruz remains to stay alive and drives the pitch count early up on David Ernst.
Ernst does work from the windup out of the bullpen, something you don't see too often. He has started the game this season, so that he may be a starter or a long reliever.
And he grounds that one right back to the mound to Ernst, who makes the easy toss down to McVicker. And it'll be 2 up, 2 down here in the top of the 6th inning. If you're just tuning in, it is a 3-1 lead for the Utica Unicorns. Back in the 3rd inning, the Mammoths took the early lead off a solo shot by Hagen Wilkie, but last inning, the Utica Unicorns retaliated with 3 runs of their own, a 2 RBI double by Mike Rampone and a RBI single by Taylor Galikowski gave them the lead. That ended up knocking Donnie Murray out of the game. So we have David Ernst on the mound now, as Brandon Guilfoyle will step in, and he fouls the first one off, 0-1 on him.
Guilfoyle switch hitter. He's batting from the right side against Kennedy, now at the left side against Ernst.
Guilfoyle also is 0 for 2 today. He struck out both times, once looking, once swinging, going for the hat trick here.
You know, for switch hitters, it seems most switch hitters are more dominant on the left side. The first two at-bats, he struck out both from the right side. We may see a change in that from the left side here tonight.
Do you think the dominance from the left side, or from the left side, has anything to do with the fact that most pitchers are right-handed as well?
Yeah, they see more righties. That one's grounded to first. McVicker will flip.
Ooh, bad throw, though, and that's going to allow Guilfoyle to get on safely.
It'll probably go down as an error on McVicker, but to answer your question, I think they see more right-handed pitchers, and they just bat more from the left side naturally because they see more right-handed pitchers, and I think that's a big reason for it.
So thanks to that error by Tyler McVicker, Brandon Guilfoyle gets on safely. So Clay Artizer will step in. He struck out his first time up, but reached on a walk in the 5th inning. Ended up coming around to score as well. So he'll step in now. As he looks at the first pitch, it's going to be grounded and fared on the third base line, as Guilfoyle's going to come around to third base. They're going to send him home, and he is going to beat the throw in, and he'll be safe at home plate. It's going to be a 4-1 lead now on a RBI double by Clay Artizer. And what was I saying earlier, Steve, about Clay Artizer coming up in clutch situations?
Yeah, he's a clutch hitter, but also that run's going to be unearned to David Ernst as Guilfoyle reached down an error. And those freebies, like I was talking about earlier, those walks and those errors, even with 2 outs, it seems like they come around the score all the time. And there's a perfect example of that right now.
Yeah, you did mention about how the walks and the errors really hurt him. And the first time it happened, it didn't. But this time around, sometimes you just know, and you did. As Tim Budd steps in, he flies that one foul, and Hamner's going to go into foul territory, but it's going to land in the stands, so it's just going to count as a strike, 0-1 on Tim Budd. Tim Budd is 0-1 today. He flew out to the right fielder Barnes his last time up, but drew a walk back in the 3rd inning. Tim Budd comes into the game batting a solid .313 on the season, as he waits on the 0-1 pitch. And it's going to be in for a strike, 0-2.
Played his collegiate ball at Eastern Connecticut University.
Clay Artizer's out there at second base now, getting a decent lead as neither the shortstop or second baseman are playing close to the plate. And swinging a miss, he's going to strike it out the end of the inning, but not before the Utica Unicorns tack another one on, thanks to the RBI double by Clay Artizer. So the Utica Unicorns will go into the bottom of the 6th inning, leading 4-1, and do it for the Westside Woolly Mammoths will be Jordan Barnes, the right fielder, followed by the center fielder Joppa Farrell and the left fielder Alex Abbott. So we'll be back shortly with more. Welcome back, everyone. Brian Fisher and Steve Morowski with you here. The bottom half of the 6th inning, the Westside Woolly Mammoths currently trail the Utica Unicorns 4-1. If you're just tuning in, the Mammoths led off with a home run in the 3rd inning to take the lead, but the Unicorns took the lead 3-1 in the 5th thanks to RBIs from Galikowski and Rampone, and then tacked another one off in the last half inning thanks to an RBI double from Clay Artizer, as that one's going to be skied up the middle, and that'll be caught on a sliding catch from Brandon Raw out in center field. Great play by him to get underneath that one.
You know, a lot of times, a lot of fans say, "Oh, no, I don't think he needed to dive for that." Well, the objective there is to make sure you get under the ball and stay behind the ball at eye level, so that you watch it into the glove and make sure you make a nice backhand catch or a sliding catch like he did there. So good job by Galikowski to get the first out of the inning. Oh, Raw,
That's all right, Steve. You're allowed to make mistakes, buddy.
Yeah, Galikowski out there in left field.
Considering that was your first mistake today and I've made like 3, I don't have really much room to talk.
Yeah, I'm just used to saying Galikowski's name when he's at the plate. He seems to be doing it all from the plate.
He dominates the game, so it's not hard to understand that he's not far out of your mind. As it's 1-0 on Jabba Farrell now as he waits on that 1-0 pitch. He's going to swing and foul that one off, 1-1.
Farrell batting 125 on the season. Seems like to me the way he presents himself at the plate and his body language seems to be pressing a little bit. You know, maybe trying to loosen things up for him. I haven't seen him even attempt to drop down a bunt for a base hit attempt. So that may be something we may see soon in his game plan.
As he waits on the 1-1, it's going to be inside for a ball, 2-1 now.
The appeal says he did not go. It'll remain a ball.
And it's the bottom of the 6th inning now, so they still got some time left, but the Woolly Mammoths really have to get something going here because the Unicorns' offense has been moving since the 5th inning now with 4 runs in these last 2 innings. And it's going to be fouled off, 2-2, count is even now.
For all you hockey fans out there, the Pittsburgh Penguins lead the Nashville Predators 1-0 with about 10:25 left in the first period.
I don't like that score.
The 3rd game of the Stanley Cup Finals.
I don't like that score, Steve. I want it to go the other way. I do not like the Pittsburgh Penguins. As the 2-2 comes in, swung on and missed, actually, but it's going to be in the dirt, so you're going to have to throw it on the first. They make the play, so it's going to be a strikeout for Donnie Murray, who's in his 6th inning of work, 5 2/3, and just continues to dominate.
That's the brick behind the plate. There's a brick backstop, and that really played to the hand there of Tim Budd behind the plate as that ball got between his legs. It was a pitch in the dirt, but it bounced off the brick right back to him, and he's able to make a strong throw over Ardizer and get the put out.
It's not the first time that's happened this season as well. If I recall, I can't remember which team it was, but I think it was Ricky Castro down there at third base got caught in a pickle because the ball got past the catcher, and he thought he was going to be able to score, and it came right back to the catcher. As he swings and misses at that one. Big rip, and Alex Abbott's behind the count, 0-1. Alex Abbott is 1 for 1 today. He hit a base hit in the 1st inning and then walked in the 3rd, but ended up getting picked off.
Abbott batting from the left side. Has the ankle guard and likes to drop the bat head and get that low inside pitch. Sometimes he fouls it off his ankle, but with the guard there, shouldn't hurt too much. And he takes that one in the hip. He's going to get to first base on a hit by pitch.
Not too shaken up off that one. And just trots down the first base on that hit by pitch. The first hit by pitch I believe we've seen today, Steve. And Jeff Smith will come in. It's going to be a short discussion at the mound between Donnie Murray and the shortstop, Brett Balkin.
Yeah, if I'm Donnie Murray, I'm up 4-1 right now. There's a guy on first. I'm not going to be paying too much attention to him. Shane McCaddy, I'm sure he's thinking about getting the offense moving here, possibly get a 2-out rally going. But if I'm Donnie Murray, I'm going right after the hitter, trying to induce a ground ball or a pop-up, make my infielders get me out of the inning.
And if I was Donnie Murray, I wouldn't be too concerned about the fact that you just hit a batter because of the fact that you've been cruising so well through this game. I feel like his confidence has still got to be pretty high.
It also looked like a slider. He may have just pulled down a little too much on, gotten a little too much spin on it, and unfortunately it got Abbott. Looked like in the hip, but seems to be okay.
And the first pitch Jeff Smith sees is a ball, 1-0. Alex Abbott over there at first base getting a confident lead off. He's got to be careful, though. He got picked off last time he was on base.
His lead has shortened up about a step. Still fairly large, though.
Probably learning his lesson last time up, as that one's in there for a ball. 2-0 now on Jeff Smith.
So you can see after his secondary, you can see it's about where the cutoff begins at first base, which that's fairly large. And if I'm Tim Budd behind the plate, I'm aware of that. You know, I think if Murray throws a strike here to make it a 2-1 count, we could see a pick back from Budd.
Here comes the 2-0 pitch. In there for a strike, 2-1.
See if I can predict the future here. We also could see Abbott on the move. You never know.
You have predicted it a few times today, so I'm not counting you out here, Steve.
Yeah, a back pick with 2 outs up to 4-1. Not likely, but with the kind of lead Abbott gets and the kind of secondary he gets, could be a low and away fastball and see what happens.
So we'll see if it comes true here as the 2-1 pitch comes in. Going to be low, though, for a ball, 3-1. He had to go down on his knees all the way, so not really a good opportunity to throw down there at first.
Yeah, if it was a low and away fastball, what that does is it gets the catcher to reach over to his arm side, and he's able to make the transfer quickly, go down to one knee, and throw a strike over to Ardeezer to hopefully make an attempt to get him out.
As Abbott continues to get good leadoffs over there. Like you mentioned, not nearly as big of a leadoff as last time. As the 3-1 pitch is swung on and missed, 3-2. You could see Tim Budd that time actually look down to first. He thought about throwing, but decided not to. He keeps his eye on Alex Abbott down there.
Well, he's going to be on the move here, full count, 2 outs. Ardeezer playing behind the runner. Make sure Murray knows that, because if he tries to pick off, nobody's there. It's either going to be called a balk or he's going to have to throw it away, and something you don't want. As Abbott, his back is actually turned toward first base, just ready to take off for second.
And there he goes as the 3-2 pitch is in. He drills that one to left center field, but it's playable for Brandon Raw. He's going to come over and make the play. So it's going to be
That's it for the Mammoths in the 6th inning.
That's going to be it for the 6th inning. We've played 6 here in the ball game. It's a 4-1 lead for the Utica Unicorns as we go to the top of the 7th. Leading off for the Utica Unicorns in that top half is Brett Balkin, the shortstop, followed by Taylor Galikowski, and Mike Rampone, who hit a 2 RBI double his last time up. So we'll be back shortly. Welcome back, everyone, to the top half of the 7th inning. Utica Unicorns lead it 4-1. If you're just tuning in, Hagen Wilkie hit a solo shot back in the 3rd inning, but then in the 5th inning, it's been all Unicorns since then. It was a RBI single by Taylor Galikowski and a 2 RBI double for Mike Rampone, giving them the 3-1 lead. And then in the 6th inning, a RBI double by Clay Ardeezer tacked on another one. So now Brett Balkin will stand in. He reached on a single his last time up.
Balkin wearing the high socks. In his headshot, has a very thick mustache. He lines that one to left.
Be down for a single.
Kind of a Tom Selleck-esque mustache.
Yeah, he definitely looks like he's got the 1930s look going with the high socks and that mustache going on.
Yeah, and he's hitting singles just like they did back in the 1930s. Kind of a, not the dead ball era, but just after.
He's reached base all 3 times he's come to the plate today as well, even though the first time he reached on an error. But as long as you're getting on base, you're doing a good job. So,
I mean, 2 for 3 from the 9 hole. You get Galikowski up, and he's got good opportunity to drive some runs in.
Yeah, knowing Galikowski, you have a good shot of moving up from first base too, as the first one he sees is a strike. David Ernst comes back for a second inning of work. He's struggled a bit in the 6th inning, ended up giving up a run, but it was not earned because of the error to Guilfoyle. So the second pitch Galikowski sees is going to be fouled off, 0-2 now.
Balkin on the move there, looked like a 0-1 hit and run there.
Well, he hit it and he ran. Unfortunately, he just hit it foul.
Well, actually, the runner hit it and then the runner ran and then Galikowski was able to hit it. But that was designed for a hit and run. You're not supposed to be early. And as the shortstop moves over to cover the bag, Galikowski was trying to hit something through that hole and get Balkin to third base.
So now the 0-2 pitch. It's going to swing and a miss, and it's going to be a strikeout, the 3rd of the ball game for David Ernst, as he's going to take out Taylor Galikowski. But with Brett Balkin still over there at first with 1 out, Mike Rampone comes in. A double play could end the inning now.
Very rarely do we see Galikowski strike out, but nonetheless, that's the result of his 4th at-bat of the day.
Well, he's human, and he can't get on base every single time, unfortunately.
No, you can tell that to Don Andre Clark, who I believe his on-base percentage is just under 500, which is incredible.
As they're going to throw down a first, but not get Brett Balkin down there.
Clark, the center fielder for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers, one of our 4 teams here at the USPBL.
It seems like each team has at least one player that just dominates offensively, as that pitch is in for a ball 1-0. For the Unicorns, it's Taylor Galikowski. For the Beavers, it's DeAndre Clark. For the Hoppers, it's Ricky Castro.
Well, not only that, but there seems to be some role players too. Like for the Unicorns, you've got Brandon Raw, who's good in the 3 and 4 hole.
Meanwhile, that's going to be flied out to left center, where Farrell's going to make the catch.
Luke Doyle also good in the 3 and 4 hole. They seem to be interchangeable in those 2 positions. Then you got Guilfoyle in the 6th slot, who can get on base, and Clay Ardeezer can clean him up.
So Luke Doyle will step in now. He's 1 for 3 today. He hit for a base hit in his 2nd plate appearance, but grounded out to the first baseman last time up. So with 2 outs now and a man on first, Luke Doyle looks to make something happen.
I've noticed a lot of the right-handed pitchers in this league throw from the third base side of the rubber, which I find interesting. As a pitcher myself, I always had my toe at the edge of the first base side of the rubber. I was able to catch that outside corner on right-handed hitters, and it just seemed to be a comfort thing. And different pitchers work with different areas on the rubber.
It's going to be in there for a strike. 1-1 now on Luke Doyle. And what position did you play as when you played, Steve?
I was a corner infielder. I pitched a little bit, as I said, and I DH'd my last season.
Threw it on a first, not in time, though, so Brett Balkin's going to be back in there safely. When you see so many different batters come into the batter's box every single game, and they all have a different batting stance, does that have an effect on how you pitch them, or do you kind of overall just pitch the same, as that one's going to be fouled down the third base line? And I mean, not like the same. Obviously, you're going to approach every batter differently, but with such variations in batting stances, how does that play into?
Well, there's different tendencies for different hitters. If you see a guy that's open, has an open stance, meaning that his front foot will be pointed more toward either left field or right field if they're a righty or lefty, they may tend to overstep when they step toward the plate.
That one's going to be thrown over the head of Hamner, and that's going to allow Brett Balkin to advance in a scoring position.
And they may overstep toward the plate And if they're able to do that, it's easier to jam them, so you might want to pitch them inside. Whereas if you see a guy stepping away, you may want to pitch him outside or throw him some off speed and low and away and try and get him lunging and roll over on a ground ball. But each hitter has different tendencies, and knowing those tendencies is key to being a successful pitcher.
See, this is what I love about baseball. Is it's kind of like fans don't realize how intricate the game is and how much thought is put into every action. As that one's drilled foul on the first base line. It's going to remain even at 2 apiece.
Well, I think fans realize it, but I think people that really see baseball as a boring sport that's kind of slow, there's not a lot going on. If you take the time, sit down, and really try and understand the game, you'll see that there is just as much, if not more, going on than a lot of other sports.
It's basically like adult chess. I don't know how any other way to put it, but it's constantly mind versus mind.
It's the way I think about it is it's chess on a dirt field with a bat and a ball.
Yeah.
I mean, you have your pitcher make a move, batter has to make an equally good move. If he does, he gets a base hit, home run, something like that. But the chess and baseball are very complementary to one another.
As the ball is going to be inside, it's going to walk Luke Doyle after a 3-2 count. So with men on first and second and 2 outs, it's going to be up to Brandon Raw to extend the lead for the Utica Unicorns.
First and second, 2 outs. Raw's going to be looking to drive something into the outfield, possibly over the heads or into the gap in the outfield. Get at least 1 RBI, if not 2. Doyle has decent speed, so he could score from first on an extra base hit, not being held by McVicker over there as he plays deep behind the bag.
As he's going to fly that one base hit into right field, and they're going to send Brett Balkin home. And that flow is going to be off, so it's going to score him. It's going to be an RBI single for Brandon Raw, his first hit of the ball game. So it's going to be 5-1 now. Utica Unicorns in the lead. Chris Cruz will step in, and with Luke Doyle now at second, there are still runners in scoring position.
Shane McCaddy comes to the mound, and there's some action in the bullpen for the Westside Woolly Mammoths. It's like number 24, Joel Sharon, starting to get loose. McCaddy's still buying some time, just making sure his pitcher's calm when he faces Chris Cruz, who will come up next.
This is the second run that David Ernst has allowed to score, but it's the first one that's been earned because back in the 6th inning, Guilfoyle reached on an error by Tyler McVicker at first base. So when Clay Artizer eventually brought him around to score, it was not held against him. So Chris Cruz comes in with a chance to add yet another run on. The Unicorns have scored in the last 3 innings, the 5th, 6th, and 7th for all their runs.
Again, the same mindset for Cruz, just put something in the outfield and try and score that run from second, make the outfielders make a good throw to home.
As that ball is way high and way outside, 1-0. Chris Cruz has flown out in his first 2 at-bats, and he's done good work at getting the pitch count up with a 6-pitch at-bat and a 7-pitch at-bat, but just nothing to show for as of yet, as that one's called a ball, 2-0, as it's just a hair outside. 1-0 count on Chris Cruz, 2 outs, 2 runs home already here in the top of the 7th inning. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Going to be in there for a ball, 3-0 now on Chris Cruz. Unicorns currently lead it 5-1 after the RBI single by Brandon Raw a moment ago.
5 runs, 8 hits, no errors for the Unicorns. Mammoths have 1 run on 4 hits and have committed 2 errors tonight.
The 1 run from the Westside Woolly Mammoths came courtesy of Hagen Wilkie's solo shot back in the 3rd inning, as that was called a strike. 3-1 now.
Donnie Murray throwing the ball extremely well for the Unicorns. Only 65 pitches through 6 innings.
So you're guaranteed to pretty much see him in the 7th inning, if not more, as that one's hit right up the middle for a base hit. And they're going to send Luke Doyle, who's going to come around to score, as David Ernst is going to cut that one off at the mound. So it's going to be a 6-1 lead now for the Utica Unicorns.
It's It's actually McVicker that cut that off. Ernst doing the right thing, going back behind the plate to back up what could have been a poor throw to the plate had it been offline. As many pitchers are taught, go back behind the plate or third base and back up a poor throw. McVicker did the right thing and got to his cutoff position just in front of the mound.
So for the third time this inning, we're going to have runners at first and second. And Brandon Guilfoyle will lead things off. Came around to score his last time up after he reached on an error. He's going to drill this one up the middle, and that's going to be a base hit too. So they're going to send Brandon Raw, and he's going to come in safely. And they're going to stop Chris Cruz at third base. So it's going to be a 7-1 lead now for the Utica Unicorns, and they have just been tearing apart David Ernst's relief pitching here in the 7th inning.
It's 3 straight at-bats for the Unicorns with an RBI, and as I was saying earlier, we may see Guilfoyle be much better from the left side, and just like that, he doubles up into the right center gap. He was almost thrown out, but his speed allowed him to get to second just before the throw got in.
And the 3, 4, 5, and 6 hitters doing exactly what they need to do, getting on base and bringing runs home as Luke Doyle reached on a walk. Following that, Brandon Raw hit an RBI single. Chris Cruz had an RBI single, and Brandon Larkin Guilfoyle had an RBI single. So they're doing good work, and they're hitting David Ernst pretty hard as Shane McCaddy is going to come out to the mound, and I have to imagine this is going to be it now.
Yeah, Ernst's day will probably be done as he's going to give the ball to Shane McCaddy and depart down 7-1. Fortunately, not a good outing for him. He was just one pitch away from getting out of this inning, and McCaddy gives him some words of encouragement as he takes the walk back to the dugout.
Well, he got 2 outs, and then it just fell apart. It just a walk, then a base hit for an RBI, base hit for an RBI, and a base hit for an RBI. And all he needed, like you said, was that one pitch to get that extra man out, and he just couldn't get it. So he's going to finish the game with 1 2/3 innings pitched. He allowed, let's see here, 5 hits for 4 runs, only 3 of which were earned. And he walked just 1 batter and struck out 2. So not the ideal outing you wanted to see. Coming into the game, he had a .89 ERA, but his whip was very high, and we can see that finally came back and bite him in the butt today.
Yeah, and we see Jared Gaynor, the left-hander, take over for the Mammoths. He's pitched in 2 games. I know he started one of those for sure. He's thrown 9 1/3 innings. He's 0-2 on the season. He's given up 15 hits. Struck out 7 while walking 2, and he's only given up 4 earned runs. He's got a 3.86 ERA, and his whip is 1.82. So we'll see if Gaynor can get out of this inning and hopefully strand those runners that would be earned to Ernst should they come around to score.
Well, Clay Artizer had an RBI double in the bottom half or the top half of the 6th inning, and he comes back up to bat here in the 7th. The 3rd consecutive inning, he's actually had a plate appearance, and he already has that RBI today. So, and we already know that he can hit for RBIs. Whenever he seems to get them all the time, he just hits a ton of them. So we'll be looking to see if he can add another one on here for the Unicorns and just really, really blow this one wide open.
Yeah, it seems to come through in the clutch for the Unicorns, and maybe this at-bat will be no different.
Like we mentioned, he had that walk-off against the Hoppers last weekend, and so he's not opposed to hitting under pressure. And not everyone can achieve under pressure. Some batters just thrive in it, though. Batters like, and personally, I think Alex Avila of the Tigers is a good example. He's not, despite the season, he's playing really well at the plate, but historically, he's not that great of a batter. But whenever he's put in that pressure situation, I remember several times with the Tigers where it was the bottom of the 9th inning and we needed a run badly, he was able to come through. And Clay Artizer is just like that.
You know, I wouldn't compare him to Alex Avila.
I'm in clutch situations, as I specify.
Even then, I don't see Avila as being a great hitter in clutch situations, as opposed to, this is kind of a given, but Miguel Cabrera.
Well, that's cheating. He's clutch at everything.
I mean, this season he's struggled, but you saw him against the Royals a few games ago in the 8th inning. They were down, I believe it was 6-5, and he came up with a 2 RBI single in the 8th inning to make it 7-6. And we've just seen that so many times from him, and that seems to be what Artizer's, the kind of mindset he's taken as he swings and misses the first pitch from Gaynor.
He's 1 for 2 yet today. Like I mentioned, he had the RBI double. And he also had a strikeout and a walk, too. So he's kind of done a little bit of everything. As he waits on the 0-1 pitch. Going to be in there for a strike. 0-2 now.
Looked like a sharp breaking ball from Gaynor at 80 miles an hour that caught Ardicer off guard. He was really sitting on a fastball there and kind of buckled his front knee, and now he's down in the count 0-2.
And if you're Donnie Murray, your arm's got to be getting a little cold here with the Unicorns just tacking on these runs.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got a jacket over it, and he's up in the dugout walking around and making sure he's staying loose. But, you know, should he start to have a rough inning, I'm sure Jim Essien will have somebody ready in the bullpen and go get him if things start to kind of go awry.
Meanwhile, pitches in the dirt, so it's 1-2 on Clay Ardicer. As he waits on the 1-2 pitch. No man on and 2 outs here for the... I'm sorry. There's a man on second with 2 outs. He's going to foul tip that one.
Man on second and third, actually.
Yes, correct. I'm just so used to not having men on, I guess. I don't know.
Well, this 2-out rally has really been generated just by strings of hits from the Unicorns that are really putting together hits as a team rather than individuals. You know, the Unicorns have 4 hits today, but they haven't strung any of them together, whereas... the Mammoths have 4 hits today. As that pitch misses low. It's 2-2 now on Ardicer. But the Mammoths have 4 hits, and they haven't strung anything together like the Unicorns have with their 10 hits today.
Well, they have a total of 5 men left on base, and if you can manage it, I know it's not common to score all your men that are left on base, but if they had, it'd be a tied ball game right now. Or it'd be a 7-6 ball game, as that one's going to be grounded over the second baseman Blackstone, throws down to first. That's going to end the inning. So the Unicorns tag on another 3 runs to really blow this one open and make it a 7-1 lead over top of the Westside Woolly Mammoths. Meanwhile, we go to the bottom of the 7th inning, where leading off for the Mammoths as they try to mount a comeback will be the third baseman Riley Palmer, the catcher Kyle Hamner, and the second baseman Kent Blackstone. So we'll be back shortly with more. Welcome back, everyone. Brian Fisher and Steve Morosky here. And it's a 7-1 lead in favor of the Utica Unicorns going into the bottom half of the 7th inning, where due up for the Westside Woolly Mammoths will be Riley Palmer. He's 1 for 2 today as a base hit back in the 2nd inning. And if you're just tuning in, back in the 3rd inning, Hagen Wilkie hit for an RBI solo shot home run to left center field. Following that, it's been all Unicorns. In the 5th inning, they took the lead 3-1. off of RBIs from Rampone and Gelikowski. In the 6th inning, they tagged on another one by Artizer. And then three different RBIs by Raw, Cruz, and Guilfoyle to make it a 7-1 ball game. Meanwhile, Riley Palmer swings and misses at the first pitch to make it 0-1 on him now.
We'll see if all that rest time really affected Donnie Murray. It doesn't seem like it, as he got a swing and miss for the first pitch.
Well, like you mentioned, he's probably staying active in the dugout, moving around, making sure his body stays warm.
Yeah, he's a pro. He understands his body and knows what he needs to do to stay fresh. That one?
Yeah, he looks good. It's 0-2 now. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Steve. That was
wants a meeting with his catcher there. Looks like he wants to make sure they're on the same page. And I noticed on the front of Riley Palmer's helmet, the pine tar actually is shining off of it, and it just shows how much maybe caked on there. But as he adjusts his helmet after he swings, it gets on his glove and doesn't need to go to the dugout and grab the pine tar stick.
As it's 0-2 now on Riley Palmer as he waits on that pitch. They're going to call for time.
Looks like Palmer wanted time there as Murray and Bud nod at each other.
And here comes the delivery. It's going to be down low for a ball, 1-2. So going to get a new ball out to the pitcher, Donnie Murray now.
Haven't seen Murray run too many 2-2 and 3-2 counts. Hopefully he's been really getting batters out and making sure he makes quick work of them. So I'm sure we'll see that with Palmer here.
By my stats here, he only went to 3 balls 3 times in today's ball game.
Palmer swings and misses there for the first out.
And that was to Riley Palmer the first time up, which resulted in a base hit. A 4-pitch walk to Alex Abbott in the 3rd inning, and then a 3-2 fly out to Jeff Smith, who flew out to Raw in center field. And now, it's possible I've been missed a couple, but that's what I have down is only 3 times where he's gone to 3 balls or more.
It's so important for pitchers to stay ahead of hitters and get that first strike, because that gives you so much breathing room to really do what you want with pitches. And that last pitch looked like it was knee high right down the middle, but called a ball. So Hamner has a 1-0 count.
Hamner stepping in after Palmer struck out. He is 1 for 2 today. He had a base hit back in the 2nd inning. Grounded out his last time out, though. As here comes the 1-0 pitch. He's going to ground that one past the shortstop. And that'll allow him to score. That one's going to be feel a base hit, I'd imagine, though.
Second baseman, number 9, Blackstone.
Balkin tried to make a diving stop, and it looked like it popped off the heel of his glove as he lost the sunglasses on his hat. And that's a tough play. And I thought it was interesting. I saw Guilfoyle kind of lunge at it, but didn't really make what appeared to me as a 100% effort at the ball. And I don't know if that's the way Jim Essien took it, but with a 7-1 lead, 1 hit isn't going to kill him.
As Blackstone steps in now with a runner at first base and 1 out. And yeah, it looked to me too, Steve, like it was just going to be a tough play nonetheless, and that's why it's going to go down as a base hit, the 5th hit of the ball game for the Mammoths. But you're right, Guilfoyle kind of looked like he jogged over to it and thought that it was going to be more of Balkin's ball to get, but it was a tough play nonetheless and just went off the heel of his glove.
He took one step to his left and kind of assumed that Balkin would be there, and Balkin may have been shaded a little up the middle, but I think that Guilfoyle may have been able to cut that off with a possible dive, but nonetheless, Hamner on first, and there's 1 out.
And it's a 2-0 count now on Kent Blackstone. Westside Woolly Mammoths trail at 7-1 here in the bottom of the 7th inning with 1 out. They look to try and mount a comeback. They have, 8 outs left in this ball game to try and score 6 runs to tie it. As the 2-0 pitch is going to be on the outside corner for a strike, 2-1. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. Count is even 2-2 now on Kent Blackstone.
Our D's are not holding Hamner over there at first. Hamner not a threat to run, but even if he were to take second base, I'm not sure we would see a throw from Bud. would go down as a defensive indifference.
As the 2-2 pitch to Kent Blackstone is in, swung on and missed. A strikeout for Donnie Murray. And he continues just to cruise through this ball game.
Next up for the Mammoths, the first baseman.
Second strikeout of the inning, and
7th of the ball game.
yeah, 7th of the ball game. As Tyler McVicker will come in with 2 outs and a man on, try and get something going here for the Mammoths, as they have not really had much going on since the Hagen-Wilkie home run.
I'll be curious to see if Jim Estian wants to keep Donnie Murray around for the 8th inning. Should he get out of the rest of the 7th inning?
As McVicker swings and misses at that pitch, 0-1 on him. And he's done a good job. He's, it's 79, 80 pitches now? And
Yep, 77 actually, so very economical.
Through 7, technically 6 2/3 innings pitched. He could go out for the 8th, but it's really up to Estien's discretion whether or not he wants to risk it, as it's 0-2 now on Tyler McVicker. He's had a fantastic outing here so far, having only given up 1 earned run, but that could change with 1 swing of the bat.
Murray stands 6'2", 215 pounds on the mound, so he's definitely got a presence out there. You see some guys that are shorter may not look like they're supposed to be out there as that's fouled off, but Murray, he's got a very confident walk. It's not arrogant. He's got a confidence about him on the hill.
So it'll be 0-2 now with 2 outs and a man on first for the Westside Woolly Mammoths. As McVicker waits on the 0-2, here's the delivery. Swung on and grounded foul down by the home team dugout. McVicker doing everything just to stay alive here and give his team a chance to get on base.
Balkin shaded a little bit in the hole, leaving the middle of the field open for McVicker.
Comes the 0-2 pitch. And they're for a ball, 1-2 now.
It's a great pitch by Murray. He's trying to get McVicker to bite on a 77-mile-an-hour slider. Down and away. It started in the zone and faded away. So you saw Bud kind of nod at him, but it's a great pitcher's pitch, and McVicker did a good job of holding up.
Ahead in the count, 0-2 for Donnie Murray. You really have a couple pitches to work with and try and trick him. And now it's 1-2 as the 1-2 pitch comes in, swings and misses, ends up getting him. So 3 strikeouts to end the inning, and it's going to be a 7-1 lead going to the top of the 8th inning for the Utica Unicorns, and they're just dominating this ball game. And going into the top of the 8th, leading off for the Unicorns will be the number 9 hitter and third baseman apologies, is going to be Timothy Budd, followed by Brett Balkin and the leadoff man Taylor Gelikowski, who has an RBI today. So we'll be back shortly with more.
6, Timothy Budd.
Welcome back, everyone, to the top of the 8th inning. Brian Fisher and Steve Morowski here, and it's a 7-1 lead for the Utica Unicorns as they take at the plate here. Timothy Budd, or Tim Budd, as he prefers to be called, takes for a ball, 1-0 on him now.
Gainer working from the stretch, which I find interesting because when we've seen him start, he uses the windup, so could be something out of relief. He grounds that one to short.
Quick throw down on the first is going to get him. So on 2 pitches, he's going to get the first batter out. And Brett Balkin now gets the chance to step in after that quick out from Tim Budd. And maybe Steve, like you mentioned, maybe he's just trying to change something up. Maybe see if that's going to work for him, or maybe it's just something he does when he's relieving instead of starting.
Yeah, I know when I pitched, I've done that a few times. As a starter, I would use a windup, but I would also come in relief, and I would go from the stretch. That's just how I warmed up, or I would come in with runners on base, and I was more comfortable with the stretch that day.
As Brett Balkin and his fabulous mustache takes to the plate. Takes for a ball, 1-0 now.
I definitely can't grow a mustache like that.
Nah, I can't either. It grows all right on the sides and underneath, but when it comes to growing a mustache, it just does not grow in very well. Comes the 1-0 pitch. He's going to ground that one foul. 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here in the top of the 8th inning. 7-1 lead for the Utica Unicorns.
Looks like the Unicorns have somebody throwing in the bullpen. Not sure who they will come in relief of Donnie Murray in the next inning, as Murray's only at 82 pitches through 7 innings. So I expect to see Murray out for at least the start of the 8th inning, but we'll see.
As Balkin waits on the 1-1 pitch, here's the delivery. In there for a ball, 2-1 now.
Something I've also noticed about the defenses for all 4 teams is that they don't shift. I haven't seen a shift on any of the left-handed hitters as of yet this season.
That one will be inside for a strike, 2-2. And yeah, I noticed the same thing. There hasn't been a whole lot of shifts either. I think the Hoppers are the only ones who have really decided to do any, and they're also one of the fastest teams on the base path, so maybe they just know they don't want the same done to them that they do the other people, as that one's grounded over to the shortstop Smith. They're going to do a quick throw down to first and get him. So 2 up, 2 down. Very similar plays there. And it's a 6-3 ground out. So Taylor Gelikowski will come up now. He has 2 singles, an RBI, strikeout, and hit into a double play. So he's done a little bit of everything in today's ball game, good and bad. But he's part of the reason why his team has a 7-1 lead right now.
I find it interesting that Gelikowski's batting .304, which is very good from the leadoff spot, but he has 4 homers and 7 RBIs as a leadoff hitter, which is something you don't see very often. He's also walked 6 times, and he scored 6 runs, so he's on base when he's not hitting the ball over the fence.
As the first pitch to him is called a strike, 0-1. Yeah, the last time up he struck out swinging on 3 pitches, which is not something you see often from him. As, like you just mentioned, Steve, he gets on base pretty much, well, most of the time. If it's not a walk, it's a hit, home run. He's all around a fantastic player at the plate. And he takes for a ball, 1-1.
We'd like to say it's still early in the season, but we're in early June now. We've played
a month,
almost 4 weeks of the season.
As he swings and tips that one, so it'll be a strike, 1-2 now.
And I think we're really starting to see the way these teams unfold in the league and how they compete with one another. Every team there's not a team that's really a step above anybody, and there's not a team that's a step below. Everybody's in the same league and very competitive with one another.
Yeah, and the 0-2 pitch is swung on and flown out to left field, fairly deep, as Abbott's going to retreat to the warning track to make the catch. It's going to be a 1-2-3 inning for Taylor Gelikowski. And we go to the bottom of the 8th now, where the Unicorns lead is 7-1. And due up for the Westside Woolly Mammoths in that bottom of the 8th inning will be the DH Hayden Wilkie. He has the lone run for the Mammoths today on the solo shot back in the 3rd. Following him is the right fielder Jordan Barnes and the center fielder Jabba Farrell. So we'll be back shortly with more. Welcome back, everyone, to the bottom half of the 8th inning, and we've had a pitching change. Donnie Murray, the starter, is out after going 7 phenomenal innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 8 strikeouts. And Steve just really kept up his trend of great pitching that he's performed all throughout the season so far.
Well, that's the kind of start you want from your starting pitcher. You want him to keep your team in the game. Hopefully your offense can score some runs. And as long as he gives you a chance to win, he's doing his job. He doesn't have to be perfect, as obviously Murray wasn't today, but he had an extremely quality start.
He ended up giving up 5 hits, but only walked 1, and he maintains that low walk to strikeout ratio that he has. He started coming in, he had 4 walks and 19 strikeouts. He added 1 more walk and 8 strikeouts, so now he's got 5 walks to 27 strikeouts, and he's just continued to dominate on the mound, and his ERA is just going to drop from today's ball game. He just continues to dominate game in and game out, but now Sean Gustin will come in relief of him.
And what I liked about that start is there was only 1 inning where he gave up more than 1 hit. That was the 2nd inning. And after both those hits, he got a strikeout and a double play ball. So that's exactly what you want to do as a pitcher. Get that next batter out after you give up 2 hits, and then get that double play ball.
In fact, Steve, the only inning he didn't get a strikeout was the 1st inning. He had at least 1 strikeout in every inning since then. And he's just, it's just exactly the kind of outing you want from your starting pitcher.
And in the 1st inning, he got the first batter out, gave up a single, and then got it induced a 5-4-3 double play ball.
So he had the Woolly Mammoths dancing in the palm of his hand throughout the entire game. As the first pitch to Hagen Wilkie's going to be swung on and missed, 0-1.
Just seemed like they couldn't figure him out, but Wilkie was able to tag him once for a solo home run to left center field, get the only run for the Mammoths tonight.
Well, it's a good thing for Donnie Murray that there was only 1 man on. As the 0-1 pitch comes in, swung on and missed, 0-2 now on Hagen Wilkie.
Well, there was nobody on for the home run.
So we wait on the 0-2 pitch. Going to be in there for a strike. He's going to strike him out looking. And Sean Gustin off to a good start here, striking out the first batter he sees in 3 pitches. And Jordan Barnes will come in looking to spark some kind of comeback here with only 5 outs left in the game for the Westside Woolly Mammoths. Jordan Barnes 0 for 2 today. The first pitch Jordan Barnes sees is in for a ball, 1-0.
Barnes, I believe, was a draft pick of the New York Yankees a few years ago.
It's a tough organization to make it into.
Especially now they got Aaron Judge out there in the outfield. Jacoby Ellsbury in center, Brett Gardner out there.
If you asked me a year ago, Steve, who Aaron Judge was, I would have no clue. But he's just been phenomenal throughout this entire early season so far for the New York Yankees, as it's going to go to 2-1 now on Jordan Barnes.
Well, I've heard of him before as a possible football prospect, and I heard he chose baseball. It was kind of surprising to a lot of people, but the longevity in baseball is so great. As that one misses in the dirt, 3-1 now, but the longevity in baseball compared to football and even basketball is so great. Plus, their paychecks are a little bit better.
Yeah, a little bit bigger. Russell Wilson did something different, similar but different, as that one skied into the air into right field, as the second baseman Doyle is going to come over and make the catch all the way over by the first baseline. Quite a little trip for him, but it's going to be 2 up, 2 down for Sean Gustin in relief of Donnie Murray. But yeah, Steve, Russell Wilson got drafted into the NFL and the MLB. He spends a lot of the time during the offseason hanging out with the Rangers, the team he was drafted by. He has done a couple spring trainings with them. But he chose football instead, which, as a quarterback, the longevity is a little bit longer most of the time, unless you're Tony Romo. But
it seemed his profession was football, but his passion may have been baseball, because he's played in a few spring training games with the Rangers. Hasn't done great in terms of statistical output. I believe he batted somewhere in between 200 and 220, somewhere in that range, which isn't going to get you a major league contract, but he still had that option to play both sports.
As it's quickly 0-2 now in Jabba Farrell as Sean Gustin looks to work a 1-2-3 inning. And yeah, Russell Wilson, maybe not up to a MLB standards, but to be able to play professionally in both, because even if you're playing in the minor leagues, that's still professional baseball. It means he's incredibly talented. It's just a swing and a miss and a throw down to first to get him. So he's going to strike out 2 and fly out the other one. And it's going to be a 1-2-3 inning for Sean Gustin as we go to the top of the 9th inning where the Utica Unicorns lead at 7-1. Leading off for the Unicorns will be Mike Rampone. Following him, Luke Doyle and Brandon Raw. So we'll be back shortly. Welcome back, everyone, to the top half of the 9th inning, and we have another pitching change for the Westside Woolly Mammoths. Jared Gaynor is out. Steve, he goes 1.1 innings pitched, and he gives up no hits, no runs, no walks, and no strikeouts, but gets all 4 of the batters he faced out.
It's what you ask from your relievers, just to get guys out and keep them off the base paths and keep your team in the game.
And for Westside Woolly Mammoths, he's the only one who really came on and did his job today, as David Ernst before him gave up 3 earned runs, and Sean Kennedy before that gave up 3 earned runs. So it's good to see that the Westside Woolly Mammoths have a little bit of upside to them now as they look to try and get something going. It's the Utica Unicorns' turn to bat here in the top of the 9th, though.
Want to send a quick prayer out to those affected by the attacks in London tonight. Absolutely heart-wrenching attacks, and it's terrible that kind of thing goes on in this world, but...
And the first pitch to Mike Rampone's a strike. Yeah, Steve, our hearts go out to all the families and friends of people who are affected, and of course, obviously, the victims. It's just been a true tragedy.
It's been a tough week and a half or 2 weeks or so in that area with the Manchester attacks occurring as well.
As it's 0-2 now on Mike Rampone. And anytime something like this happens, the first thing you think is, why? Why does something like this have to happen? And it's just a lot of messed up ideologies out there. Everyone thinks they're the good guy, and it's just, why can't we just get along? As it's 0-2 on Mike Rampone. Joel Sharon on the mound now for the Westside Woolly Mammoths. Not the first time we've seen him this season. And the 0-2 pitch is going to be a ball, 1-2.
In 4 games, Sharon's thrown 3 in the 3rd innings. Doesn't have a win or a loss on the season. He's got 5 hits. He's walked 7 and only struck out 4. ERA at 16.2, so he's definitely looking to improve that. His whip is at 3.6.
As that ball's high, count is even, 2-2. Yeah, he hasn't had a great start to the season, but it would be a good day for him to work on it and try to get back into it as his team's down 7-1, so it's not like there's much pressure on him to maintain a lead or anything. This would be a great game for him to work on his mechanics as that ball's fouled off, so it's going to remain 2-2.
Being a left-hander reliever, he's a valuable commodity in the bullpen, and possibly as a starter, you don't having lefty back there, it's always good to get guys different looks.
As that ball's going to miss outside 3-2. So after getting behind in the count 0-2, Mike Rampone works his way back to a full count. And yeah, Joel Sharon, like you mentioned, left-handed pitching is always a treat, so you want them to perform well, as that one's popped up in foul territory by first base. Play is made by Tyler McVicker, so that'll be 1 out now for Joel Sharon.
Now batting the second baseman, number 9, Luke Doyle.
Looks like Quentin Alexander is going to be pinch hitting for Luke Doyle here. Get him in that bat or two.
Pinch hitting for Luke Doyle, number 2, Quentin Alexander.
Probably move to second base when we see him in the field next half inning.
Alexander batting .214 on the season. He's got 1 RBI on 3 hits. As the first pitch he sees is a ball, 1-0. He's looked a little bit low. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. It's going to be high, 2-0 now.
Good job by Sharon that last at bat to get Rampone to pop up. Gave him a nice battle, but was able to get the out. That one's going to miss outside. It's 3-0.
So, after going 3-2 against Mike Rampone, it's now 3-0 on Quentin Alexander. And Joel Sharon is going to get a strike there, so 3-1. Joel Sharon struggling a little bit with his control here. As here comes the 3-1 pitch. Way outside, and he's going to walk him. That ball was not even close to Kyle Hamner behind the plate. So with 1 out, we have a man on for the Utica Unicorns. And Brandon Raw will come to the plate. Had an RBI single back in the 7th inning to help his team get to where they are now. But other than that, he is popped out, flown out, and struck out. As that pitch is way high. 1-0 on Brandon Raw. Joel Sharon continues to struggle on the mound with his control.
Missing up and away with those last 2 pitches. His legs could be working a little bit quicker than his upper body, which causes the arm to lag a little bit and miss to the arm side.
And Brandon Raw is definitely not the hitter you want to be struggling against, because he will do damage against you, because he comes into the game batting .341 with 14 hits and 9 RBIs on the season and 3 home runs. So he can definitely do damage as he chops that one down on the third baseline. Tossed down to second, gets him. Tossed down to first. It's going to be a double play, so Brandon Raw is not able to do any damage. Joel Sharon manages to get out of this inning thanks to a 5-4-3 double play. So we're going to go to the bottom half of the 9th. Last call for the Westside Woolly Mammoths. They trail 7-1. And leading off the Westside Woolly Mammoths in the bottom of the 9th will be the left fielder Alex Abbott, the shortstop Jeff Smith, and third baseman Riley Palmer, the 2-3-4 hitters. So we'll be back with more. Welcome back, everyone, to the bottom half of the 9th inning, where the Utica Unicorns lead it 7-1 over the Westside Woolly Mammoths. Last call for the Mammoths. And we have a pitching change. Sean Gustin is done for the night. He pitched the 8th inning, and no hits, so no runs, no walks, and struck out 2 in his 1 inning of work. Doing a great job in relief of Donnie Murray, who also had a great day. So Steve Simmons comes in for his season debut, and I believe it's his USPBL debut as well.
That's right. Simmons out of Kalamazoo College. He's from Northville, Michigan, which is about 45 minutes away. Actually played against him at Albion College. I remember facing him a couple times out of the bullpen for the Hornets.
So you know a little bit about him. Give us a scouting report here, Steve.
Well, looks like he's got a live arm, throwing 87. I don't remember his off-speed.
As it's quickly 0-1 on Alex Abbott. I was kidding. You didn't actually have to go for a scouting report there.
I mean, he should
I should have layered on the sarcasm there.
Should be sitting around 86, 87. But he's got an interesting an interesting stretch. His leg kick, he really pivots the shoulders away from the batter as he throws a changeup in there at 80 for a strike. But he pivots the shoulders away, and it really hides the ball from the batter. So very deceptive.
And it's 0-2 on Alex Abbott as Steve Simmons is going to come in and try and end this ball game. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. He's going to swing and fly this one into foul territory. Charging over is Clay Artizer. And it's going to land in the patio over there in right field. So going to remain 0-2. Alex Abbott on the day is 1 for 1 actually. In his first appearance in the first, he hit for a single, then got walked and eventually picked off at first base, and then hit by a pitch his last time up. And as he swings and misses at that one, and it was a foul tip into the glove of Tim Budd. So Steve Simmons strikes the first guy he faces out. So Jeff Smith will come in, try and get something going for the Westside Woolly Mammoths. 0 for 3 today. Hit into a double play in the first, struck out looking in the 4th, and flew out to Brandon Raw in center field his last time up in the 6th inning. Here comes the first pitch to him. Outside for a ball, 1-0. And Steve Simmons throws 3 straight strikes to his first batter, Alex Abbott, to strike him out in his debut in the USPBL. Not a bad way to start things off, as that one's grounded right up the middle to the second baseman Doyle. And easy throw over to, Quentin Alexander over there at second base right now, as we had a pinch hit in the last half inning. So 2 up, 2 down for the Utica Unicorns.
Simmons making quick work of the first 2 guys he faced.
What a great way to start things off for him here. It'd be even greater if he goes 1-2-3.
Absolutely. Would not get a save. Does not have the credentials as of right now on the scoreboard, too.
As it's a 6-run lead. I believe, 3 runs or less has to be for a save situation?
Yeah, if you come in with a 3-run lead or less, you would get a save if you're able to hold the other team.
And it's going to be a pitch outside to Riley Palmer for a ball, 1-0.
Radar gun says 90 on that one. Looked like a lot of late movement, a lot of tail away from the hands of Riley Palmer.
Steve Simmons looking like he could be a lethal weapon in the bullpen. As a fan and a miss at that one. 1-1 now on Riley Palmer. He's been getting quite a few swings and misses out of these batters. And obviously, part of it's due to it being the first time they've seen him. A lot of time when you see a pitcher for the first time, that pitcher's going to perform very well. So, small sample size as they get tape on these batters, and swing and a miss at that one. 1-2, another big rip.
Right now he's just playing hardball with Riley Palmer. Here it is, and hit it as Palmer swings through 2 fastballs, one on the outside corner, and that one just above the letters.
So the Mammoths are down to their last strike of the ball game as they trail 7-1 here in the bottom of the 9th. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed to end the ball game. And a great debut for Steve Simmons in the USPBL as he goes 1-2-3 in the 9th inning to end the ball game. The Utica Unicorns improved to 7-4 in the season, and they lead the league on a 7-1 victory over top of the Westside Woolly Mammoths, who fall to 5-6.
Yep, great performance by the Unicorns, especially Donnie Murray on the mound, throwing great 7 innings, only giving up 1 run, I believe 5 hits.
Yeah, Donnie Murray only giving up 5 hits, Steve. You got that right. He had 8 strikeouts, 1 walk, and 1 earned run, and he just continues to perform fantastically throughout the season and is really earning his keep here with the Utica Unicorns. Every time he comes out, he gives his team a chance to win. Sean Gustin giving up no slack either with one inning pitched and gave up no hits and no walks with 2 strikeouts in relief. And Steve Simmons coming in and going 1, 2, 3 in the 9th. So really just fantastic pitching performances throughout all the pitchers for the Westside or the Utica Unicorns here in today's ball game. If you, Steve, had to pick a pitcher of the ball game, I think we both know who it would be, but just to get it out there, who would you pick?
I think it's obvious to everybody Donnie Murray is that. I would really pick him as my player of the game, not even pitcher of the game. He dominated hitters through the first 5 innings. I mean, Wilkie tagged him for 1, but I like the way he bounced back. He gave it up. He said, "Okay, you got me," and just cruised through the next 4 innings and was able to hand it over to the bullpen, who did a tremendous job in keeping it a 7-1 ball game and getting the victory for the Unicorns.
And while we had a great pitching performances from the Unicorns, and by the way, I agree with you, Donnie Murray it would be the player of the game for me too. While we had a solid pitching performance from the Unicorns, on the other hand, the Mammoths really struggled pitching-wise today. Sean Kennedy only went 5 innings. He gave up 5 hits with 3 runs, 3 earned, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. He looked like it looked like a pitching duel at first, but come that 5th inning, things just fell apart for him, and they tagged him for 3 runs. That got his pitch count up, knocked him out. David Ernst came in relief, and he had a solid .89 ERA coming in, but only went 1 2/3 and gave up 3 earned runs himself amongst 5 hits, and just not a good outing for him. Luckily, Jared Gaynor came in, and Stevie slowed it down, and Joel Sharon and Jared Gaynor combined kind of made things a little bit easier for the pitching, but overall, just not a great performance from the Mammoths out of their pitching staff today.
Yeah, I think the big thing with Sean Kennedy is that the Unicorns were able to run up the pitch count, and as he started to get tired, his control started to fade. Once he got around that 65 or 70 pitch mark, his control started to get a little wary, and he started to leave balls up and over the middle of the plate, and they were able to tag him for a couple runs there at the end. Didn't get the quality start. Overall, I thought it was an okay start as a whole, but I'm sure he would have liked to go at least into the 6th inning and not give up those 3 runs.
Well, Grant, I feel like every pitcher, their goal at least is to get qualified for that quality start, which would be 6 innings pitched and 3 earned runs. But it just fell 1 inning short because they pegged him for those 3 runs in the 5th inning. I mean, the Utica Unicorns offense was alive today in the second half of the ball game. Taylor Galikowski had an RBI single. Mike Rampone had 2 RBI double. And then you had Clay Ardeezer had a RBI double. And then you went 3 hitters in a row that had RBI singles in the 7th inning, and Brandon Raw and Chris Cruz and Brandon Guilfoyle. So the offense came from lots of different players today out of the Utica Unicorns, and that just propelled them to a 7-1 ball game or 7-1 win.
Yeah, the big difference maker for that, I think they were able to string hits together and really take advantage of some of the balls that Mammoth's pitching left up. And it wasn't that one guy would get a hit and then they would make an out. It was that one guy got a hit and they basically moved the line and were able to really take advantage of the Mammoth's pitching that wasn't as sharp as I think they would have liked tonight.
So tomorrow we have a 1:35 start. The Utica Unicorns at it again, facing the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. The Diamond Hoppers looking for a little bit of revenge here, Steve, because last time these two teams played each other, it was a walk-off single by Clay Ardeezer that sealed it in the bottom of the 9th after they gave up a 2-run lead.
Yeah, they've had some great games thus far this year. I think they're pretty much even in really the season series. I think they're 1-1, maybe 2-1, 2-2, somewhere in there, but there's no clear underdog or clear favorite for each game, and I think it really comes down to how teams perform at the end of the game and how teams finish out the game, both at the back end of the bullpen and scoring runs late in the game.
Well, if you're the Utica Unicorns, if you're the Eastside Diamond Hoppers, you're really looking for Ricky Castro to continue to just hit, and all around he's a great player in the field, on the base paths, and at the plate. And Ricky Castro's a player they always depend on. He's batting a .383, has 18 hits. He's just performing phenomenally, and he's the guy you want to continue to do that as they look to break out of this 2-game losing skid they're on.
Yeah, second baseman Cam Stewart for the Diamond Hoppers has also been performing well. He's raised his average up to .289. He's got 2 doubles and 2 homers on the season with 7 RBIs. I'm really expecting him to really have a breakout game against the Unicorns tomorrow, as well as John Mencken, who's batting .333 on the season. He's DH'd a few times. I know he was dealing with some hamstring issues a little while ago that may have been hindering him from playing a little bit, but expect those two guys to do big things tomorrow against the Unicorns.
And I misspoke. The Eastside Diamond Hoppers actually won 10-5 yesterday over the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. So maybe they're hoping to carry that momentum into tomorrow's ball game, an early start at 1:35 to perhaps keep this going for them. But with the Unicorns, they've been rolling over these teams lately, just continually winning games and getting clutch moments. So it's going to be a nice matchup between the two teams, especially considering the fact that they're in the same division. The Utica Unicorns now at 7-4, and the Eastside Diamond Hoppers at 7-5. So it's going to be a really close matchup.
Yeah, they're proving why they were the season champs last year. The Beavers won the regular season championship, but the Unicorns were able to win the postseason championship. But as far as momentum goes for the Diamond Hoppers, I think it's tough to really carry momentum from game to game because you're not playing every day. You're playing every other day. Sometimes you get those back-to-back games. But for the most part, you're playing every other day, every 2 days, and I know they have some closed games, but it's a big thing, and as you see in the major leagues and even some minor league schedules, teams play every day, whereas here you don't get that. You get every couple games, and sometimes it can be that momentum can kind of fade off into the night.
So anyway, from Jimmy John's Field, I'm Brian Fisher with Steve Morowski in a 7-1 victory over for the Utica Unicorns over the Westside Woolly Mammoths. You can tell it's late now. I'm starting to really stutter over my words. And a 1:35 game tomorrow between the Utica Unicorns and the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. And thank you guys for listening tonight. We'll be back at it tomorrow. So thank you guys for tuning in, and see you tomorrow.